Evening, everyone. This is Xavier Santiago, Vice Chair of Community Board 11. I received a message from Nilsa that she's running a few minutes late and also that Angel may be a few minutes late. I'm going to give 5 more minutes before we jump in with the public session. So just bear with us and then we'll get started. So I hope everyone's doing well and staying safe. And got to give a special shout out to my Frances Mistrota, who is wearing her headpiece right there. I love the antlers. I don't think she can hear us, but that's just fantastic. I forgot my ugly Christmas sweater today. So we'll get started in about 5 minutes, everyone.
Have a good night.
All right.
Bye, Mr. Campbell.
All right, later.
But here's political reporting.
Hello?
Hey, Judith, you?
Oh, hi, Xavier. Yeah.
Yep. We're going to get started in just a minute. So just bear with us, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Xavier Santiago. I'm the Vice Chair of Community Board 11. As I mentioned just a moment ago, our chair, Nilsa Rama, is running a few minutes late, as is our district manager, Angel Mescane. They'll be along shortly, but not being one to hold up the show, we're going to start with our public session. Before we do, I'm going to hand the baton over to Carly with a few of our opening remarks and how we're going to conduct the meeting. Carly?
Good evening. Until further notice, all meetings of Manhattan Community Board 11 will be conducted by video conference. Links to register to attend the video conferences for each of our respective meetings are published on the meeting's calendar on our website. To avoid crosstalk and help the meeting run effectively, panelists and attendees are asked to keep their microphones on mute when they're not speaking. It is also helpful to utilize headphones. Those participating by phone can dial *6 to unmute. If you wish to share a question or comment, you may do so by utilizing the raise hands function. Angel and I will be monitoring these requests to ensure that all of your hands are recognized. Those participating by phone can dial *9 to raise their hand. Board members will be called on first and then attendees. Please keep your questions or comments brief and on topic.
Great. Thank you, Carly. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm seeing, is John Green signed on yet, Carly? I'm not seeing him just yet.
No.
So, all right, he's not on. I had asked him, so John Green, if you don't know who John is, you should. He is a fantastic community board member, and he had been helping us prior to us going into our COVID bubbles, helping keep time. So during our public session, we allow 3 minutes, and we ask all of our public speakers to keep it to 2 minutes and then allow 1 minute for questioning to keep things running along smoothly. And I am going to loosely keep track of everything, so please bear with me. Let me just set things up. The first we have is Noel from Metropolitan. Noel, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yep. The con is yours, as they say in Star Trek.
Thank you for that. Happy holidays to everyone. Just a quick report from Metropolitan, your local community public hospital. We are participating in the coordinated COVID-19 vaccination campaign. As you probably know, vaccine has started to be shipped to hospitals throughout the country. We and the whole public hospital system will be participating in distributing vaccine. We're very excited about that. If you've been following, the CDC and the state have set guidelines in terms of who gets vaccinated when, and we're following those guidelines. So the first round is for, it includes high-risk healthcare workers in specific areas within our hospitals, the ICU and the emergency department. There's additional rollout happening over the next few weeks that includes skilled nursing facilities and long-term care facilities and things like that. We don't have additional information yet about what happens after that in terms of what other staff or when the vaccine becomes available to the community. We are following that closely, and we will keep you posted as soon as we know. We're working with the Department of Health to create and distribute materials to inform people about the vaccine, to address people's concerns about vaccine. And so we'll be looking to the community board to help us get that information out as much as possible. In addition to that, I just want to remind folks that flu shots are still available for folks. We don't want to get the flu, especially this year. We continue to see patients in our ambulatory care and other services at the hospital. If you've put off an appointment, call your doctor, make an appointment. Testing, we continue to provide testing, and we encourage everyone to continue to follow precautions until further notice. Hand hygiene, mask wearing, social distancing, etc. Our testing site on East 97th Street between 1st and 2nd is open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Test results.
Is the sound working?
Nina, yes, the sound is working. Noel, please carry on.
Xavier, the sound working?
Yes, the sound is working. Carry on, Noel.
I was just saying, so the testing site is open every day of the week, 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 3:30 on East 97th Street between 1st and 2nd. At the moment, we are restricting in terms of outpatient visits. We're asking that patients only come with one person if necessary. And that includes children. Please come with only one parent or guardian. We are continuing to see increasing cases throughout the city, even as we are excited about a vaccine. So please remember to take precautions. I'm not going to be able to stay for the whole meeting, but I'll put my contact information in the chat. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Noel. Are there any questions? Please raise your hand, whether you're a participant as a panelist or a guest attendee. I see one from, if I'm seeing this correctly, Carly, Barbara Paxton, and then Parth Trivedi. Excuse me for mispronunciation names.
Sorry, no, I just put my hand up when she asked if the sound was working. So I could hear.
Oh, okay. You can please lower your hand. Then is it Parth?
Oh, there it is. Okay, thanks.
Yes, you had perfect pronunciation. Thank you. Noel, I was wondering what the plan was for distribution of the educational materials that you mentioned Metropolitan Hospital would be making alongside the Department of Health.
Sure. We plan to have printed as well as electronic materials that we can distribute. We have a small outreach team, but they're very energetic. We'll send them out throughout the community to businesses, to community-based organizations. Anywhere we can leave materials, we will. The Department of Health also has folks who distribute materials, and we'll definitely have materials available at the community board office, at elected officials' offices, so that they can also make those materials available. If you have specific ideas for where materials need to go, please send them to me. We'll add them to our list.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Reminding everyone, just use the raise your hand function in case there are. Seeing that they're not. Thank you very much, Noel. Wishing you very, very happy holidays and all the work you do. And thank you for attending our Human Services Committee meeting earlier this month. Next, we have Jenny, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Koresaka.
Oh, that's correct. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. My name is Jenny Koresaka. I'm a graduate student at CUNY School of Public Health, but I'm also the Policy Systems and Environmental Changes Program Coordinator at New York Common Pantry, and a passionate advocate for alleviating food insecurity and just creating a culture of health. I'm here today because I would like to present a resolution I'm advocating for, and I would like to ask for your support. When we talk about food insecurity, we are referring to the lack of consistent access to get healthy foods for an active, healthy lifestyle. If we put that into numbers, around 1.1 million New Yorkers are experiencing food insecurity. 86.4% of the households with children in USA are food insecure, and more than 19% of the population, or 1.7 million individuals, rely on SNAP benefits to afford fresh and healthy foods. These numbers are projected to increase to double or even triple due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As a response to this, the United States Department of Agriculture recently implemented the SNAP Online Purchasing Program to allow SNAP recipients to use online grocery shopping to pay for foods using their SNAP benefits. That's great. But even though this can be beneficial, SNAP recipients find themselves at an additional disadvantage, and it's the limited range of retailers that are available to accept SNAP benefits. There's not enough to accept the SNAP benefits. The use of online ordering will provide lower-income households with greater access to healthy foods and the same kind of flexibility that non-SNAP households currently enjoy. Just as Deputy Undersecretary of USDA Food, Nutrition, and Consumer Sciences, Brandon Leap said, online ordering is and will continue to be an important tool for increasing food access in communities across America. Therefore, we need to expand the range of retailers including the small independent grocers to participate in the program to create greater access to healthy foods. So I'm here to ask for your support in this bill to expand the number of more online retailers to accept the SNAP benefits. We can make healthy foods just to be a click away. I believe that together we can create a significant impact in alleviating food insecurity. So if you have any questions, please let me know, but thank you so much for your time and your support.
Great, thank you so much, Jenny. Do we have any questions from the members of our community board or our public? See it that I don't see any raised hands. I would recommend, Jenny, if you please come to our Human Services Committee meeting. It would be great if you could also present this information there in January.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. I'll drop my information in the chat in just a moment. Do we have any members of the public who did not have an opportunity to register who would like to speak? Please raise your hand if that is the case. And also members and anyone who's been given permission to speak, please mute yourself so we don't have feedback. Okay. Carly, if you're not seeing any hands, I think we can move along. Great, and I think we have John Green with us now. John, are you there? Well, we'll wait for him to come on, but we're going to move along to our elected officials reports. And who did we have queue up first? Carly?
June Soto has her hand raised.
Okay, great. All right, June. Please, if you can keep it 2 minutes and then questions for another minute.
No problem. Good evening, everyone. Hope that everyone is having a good December so far. If any organizations need a mask or sanitizers, please contact our office at 212-828-5889. We just provided 2,000 masks for Union Settlement's Thanksgiving food giveaway, and every family got a pack of masks with their food bag. We could do the same for any other organizations who are doing holiday events. So please contact us and let us know before the holidays are here. You know, right now our numbers in New York City are up. Manhattan specifically is at 2.69% of a positivity rate. So again, we want to remind everyone to continue to follow the social distancing guidelines, especially with the holidays coming up. The senator was recently reappointed as chair of the Majority Conference by Senate Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, and he recently participated in a forum hosted by Center for an Urban Future on how to support New York City's immigrant arts communities, many of which live in East Harlem. If you'd like to view the forum, you can stream it. The link is on Twitter, and his Twitter handle is @SenatorSerrano. And right now, I know before some people had asked, we are co-sponsoring Senate Bill S8164, S8329, S7378, S8277B, S44B, S6203. And again, if you need any PPE, please give us a call, 212-828-5829. And for any events going on, you can email me directly at scheduler.serrano@gmail.com.
Okay, great. Are there any questions for June? And I'm presuming that Marielle and Wilfredo have their hands up so they could speak next. Please let us know otherwise. Are there any questions from our community board members or our public? Okay. Seeing no hands raised, thank you very much, June. Happy holidays to you and the entire team. Next, we'll have Marielle and then Wilfredo.
Hi, everyone. Marieli from Assembly Member Robert Rodriguez's office. Just a couple of quick updates. So the upcoming legislative session starts on January. I'm so sorry. 1 second. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so the upcoming legislative sessions starts up again on January 6th, and the Assembly has been meeting and working to discuss a number of revenue bills and other ways to help New York recover. Assemblymember Rodriguez is very much focused on the economic recovery of the 68th District, including solutions to providing housing assistance, small business recovery, et cetera. And so I know there are a number of bills that are in front of various committees, including the moratorium, including expanded rent relief in the form of cancellation and others. And so we are reviewing all of those, and the committees are meeting on those, and I hope to have more information soon. We're also focused on the NYCHA blueprint plan. So NYCHA put out their blueprint plan. There is a piece of legislation that is needed at the state level in order to even start their plan. And so we have a lot of reservations about the initial kind of what we've learned initially about the plan. And so we're going to be setting up several conversations with NYCHA tenants to break down the plan, understand what it means for our NYCHA community, and get their 2 cents on what they'd like to see in the plan, if they want to see the plan, if and at all. And so more to come on that. And then finally, we are assisting the community through our constituent services work. And so we continue to see a lot of complaints about unemployment, and we've had a lot of success as well, connecting people and getting their benefits started, or, you know, fixing issues that they've had with their benefits. So I urge folks to please reach out to our office, refer people to us. I'll drop my contact information in the chat, and our phone number that we use, that we share for folks to text if that's easier. And we are doing both a toy and coat drive. And so if folks are interested or have, know of people that would like to donate, please feel free to send them our way. And yep, if anyone has any questions, I'm here. Thanks.
Okay.
Jason has his hand raised.
Okay. Great. Are there any questions for Marielle? Real quick, minding the time. We have one from Jason Wu, and then I see one, if I'm reading this correctly, from Lauren Dunn. Jason?
Thank you. Just a quick question. Could you give a little bit more information on what's holding up the eviction moratorium bill? I think there was an article that came out today, or there's been a lot of articles that have come out talking about how maybe it's the state assembly that's opposing the moratorium, and I think Assemblymember Rodriguez has been supportive of the eviction moratorium bill, and I was wondering if you could give a little bit more context for us as to what's holding this process up.
Sure. I think that we should just make sure that we know. I saw that article. It is not true. The Assembly absolutely, I can speak for Assemblymember Rodriguez, and I can tell you he absolutely supports an eviction moratorium. And what that looks like, it could be the bill that's on the table. It could be a different bill. I think particularly the Assemblymember, what he's most concerned about is how do we protect people long term. So it'd be great to pass something that, you know, helps people today, and we want that. But whatever we pass needs to protect them beyond, the period of the emergency time. And I think the current bill is like a year or something like that beyond that. So we're just exploring all these what's in front of us right now and whether or not we need to make changes and things. So we have been in touch with the assembly person who carries that bill on our side. But yes, we do support that, the moratorium.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions from our community board members and members of the public? Okay. Seeing that there are none, we're going to go. I have John here, who's going to be my timekeeper again. We have 2 minutes to speak and then 1 minute for questions. We're going to have, in this order, Will, Maggie, Lauren, Nina, and our NYPD Community Affairs rep, and then Isabel from the Manhattan Borough President's Office. So, Will?
Hey, everyone, can you hear me? I'm going to take that as a yes. All right. So Councilmember Kalos wishes everyone a belated Thanksgiving and hopes that everyone was able to enjoy it in person or virtually with their family. As we celebrate the holidays, our thoughts go out to the homeless and hungry, which is why we held a hearing earlier this month demanding that the mayor restore retroactive cuts to nonprofits serving our city's neediest. We also wrote an op-ed opposing that we use the tens of thousands of vacant apartments in Manhattan and elsewhere to house our homeless population now. Along that same line, we helped grand open a supermarket-style food pantry at Urban Outreach on East 90th Street earlier this month. It's one of the first of its kind where you're able to actually shop like you're at a regular supermarket. So it provides a little bit of dignity and choice for the needy folks in our community. As temperatures continue to go below freezing tonight, if you see anyone at risk, especially those living on the street, please call 311. Code Blue has been put in place today by the mayor's office. Shelters are available system-wide for anyone needing it, including walk-ins. We're also, our office is also helping the Uptown Wagon. It's a mutual aid organization in Harlem. On December 23rd, they're sponsoring a free store at 125th and Lenox from 8 p.m. to midnight. I will drop the link to their information. I've posted it and some of you have already responded on Facebook, so I appreciate that. If you're interested in being a building captain or passing out masks or sanitizer in your building, do not hesitate to contact me. My information is in the chat. But for those of you not on the chat, it's wlopez@benkalos.com. My mobile number is 718-427-1132. With that, I wish you all happy holidays.
Great. Are there any questions for Will?
I have a question, Xavier.
Yes.
Jessica Elliott.
Hey, Jessica. All right, go ahead. And then I see Stephanie Arroyo.
Thank you, Xavier, and thank you, Wilfredo. I just had a quick question for you. I read an article from 2018 about how Councilmember Ben Kalos was the co-chair of the East River Esplanade Task Force. I was just curious if that task force was still ongoing and if there's been any updates on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yes, the task force has not formally been disbanded, but since the pandemic began, they have not formally met. The last update that I have in terms of the East River was from summer of 2019, where we announced additional funding had been granted. I don't have the amount that was given, but it was over 100 million that was provided. If you want, I can send that information to Carly and to Angel, and they can forward it out to the board. But there has not been much going on. The capital projects are still ongoing, so they're actually doing construction in certain parts, but nothing new to announce.
Great, thank you. Yeah, if you could send that to Carly, that would be really helpful. Thank you.
Yep.
Great. Stephanie?
Hi, thank you, Xavier. Thank you, Wilfredo. I just have a quick, I went to Ben Kalos's event, the emergency preparedness event, and it was obviously always a great event, and I thank you guys for it. But I'm just wondering, is there going to be another one? Because I've had a lot of people ask me about that event.
We don't have anything in terms of the emergency preparedness set up. We do have an upcoming fire safety and prevention event happening the week of January 6th. If you want, Stephanie, you can reach out to me. If you need folks, I think we may still have a small quantity of go bags. And we can obviously get the recording of the actual presentation. And if it's something that, you know, we need to do in a, like, you know, for a few people, we're more than happy to do so. But if you want, my number's in the chat, feel free to reach out to me and we can work on that, you know, starting tomorrow and figure that out.
Awesome, thank you. I think that's exactly what the people want is the book bag, not so much but the book bag. But thank you.
The go bags are great. I'll have to check what our quantity is. We get those from the emergency management from the state. So I'll see what we have left and if we have to do anything for that.
And when is the fire and safety prevention?
It is the week of the 6th. Let me just pull up my calendar for January. I cannot believe we're already there. It is on January 6th.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Great. Thank you. If there are no further questions, I just got a note that our assemblyman has been able to attend our meeting. So if there are no further questions for Will, thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to pass it over real quick, and sorry to bump everyone, but Robert, our assemblyman.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, looks like we can hear you.
Okay. Well, I don't get any video. I put my Zoom shirt on for folks, but I guess you're only going to get the audio today. But I just wanted to thank everybody and take the opportunity to, of course, offer season's greetings and happy holidays to folks. Marielle, I'm sure, did a wonderful job presenting and answered many of the hard questions. And I'll just kind of fill in some of the Okay, you guys really wanted to see the Zoom shirt. Thanks for flipping me over. Okay, so where I left off, what we are hopefully going to be working on for the next few weeks is going back to session. I mean, it's my hope, there's been some rumor about it, that we would go back to session and address some of the revenue items. As everybody knows, there's a significant budget shortfall on the state level, arguably 59 billion if you look at the 4-year plan, potentially somewhere in the area of 10 to 15 billion. So I think we're not going to be able to, I don't think we can count yet on the federal government on massive dollars coming in the form of relief. We keep hearing about negotiations. We've heard about them for months. I think we're going to have to take our own action. And even if it's not, sufficient to cover a gap of that size, we've got to do something now, today, for people who need it, for renters, for homeowners, for small businesses, for undocumented folks who have gotten no relief since the beginning of the pandemic. And I think those are the folks that we are looking to help. And I think some of that is going to require us to take some actions along the lines of raising revenues, particularly targeting the most wealthy New Yorkers, millionaires, and billionaires. So I believe we're going to have some action on that this month. Stay tuned, follow us, and please let me know what you think. Of course, I'll continue to fight for and champion for the tax abatement, the repeal of the tax abatement for millionaires and billionaires for condos and co-ops. I think that at least $100 to $300 million a year can be generated by saving this. That should go to NYCHA or to fill some of the gaps that we're seeing in terms of both this, but predominantly the city budget and affordable housing. So I just wanted to let you know that that has been a marquee signature of our legislative agenda. It's not going to stop being that. It's probably more necessary now than ever before in terms of really helping to put money where it belongs in the hands of people that need it most. Over the next few months, you're going to hear a little bit about this NYCHA blueprint and transformation plan. We're going to look forward to holding some community dialogues and charrettes about that. It's happening now. There's a piece of legislation that's introduced. We've held a hearing on it already. There's not a definitive position on it from the assembly. I'm opposed to it unless they make some significant changes around tenant protections, as well as tenant participation and whatever it is moving forward. But I look forward to hearing from community board, members of the community, NYCHA residents, TA presidents, as we host these conversations over the next few months. And I guess lastly, just making sure that what I'm going to be focused on and hopefully sharing with you, I've shared a little bit in the past, but we have an opportunity with a Democratic Senate with both supermajorities and potentially a Democratic president starting on the second week of January to really change and prioritize some of the agenda items that we couldn't do before. Secure choice, creating savings account opportunities for everybody statewide is something I'm going to be pushing for, and trying to address some of the economic imbalances that continue to keep capital out of our small businesses, capital out of our communities, MWBE pipeline and participation. I mean, some of these structural changes around Black and brown communities being able to invest in their own communities have to change. So along with doing what we have to do to hopefully help to dig ourselves out of what is this horrible pandemic economy, we also have to think about how structurally we change things to be more fair and equitable. So that's what I am gearing up to do, hopefully in January. But I know that everyone's looking forward to the holiday. It's been a very difficult year, and I appreciate everybody on the board's support on all of our efforts, whether it was PPE giveaways or testing, or helping us to implement food insecurity and providing food in the community. Everybody here at on the board has been instrumental. Nilsa, Xavier, executive board, all of the members have been there every step of the way. So I just want to say thank you, and hopefully next year will bring prosperity and good health to everybody.
Okay, thank you very much, Assemblyman. Are there any questions? I see Angela Donadell. Your hand is up.
Took me a minute to be able to raise my hand. The question I had was for Mr. Lopez. I wanted
Okay.
to know, is he still?
Yeah, go ahead. If Will is still on the line, go ahead and ask it real quick if you don't mind sticking around, Robert.
I'm here.
Okay, I just wanted to know, for the Uptown Wagon, when you do that, do people have to live in Harlem because it's located in Harlem, or can we send anybody? Can anybody come there to shop?
It is open to one and all. There are no restrictions for any of the, we're giving out food. There's going to be a medical tent. There's going to be other services there. It's available to all. So it's no limit to Harlem. We're just doing it there because there is a need, especially on that corner of 125th and Lenox. So that's why it's being held there, but absolutely open to anybody.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you. Good question, Angela. And then I see one from Nina Saxon from the Comptroller's Office. Nina, you have a question?
Yes, I do. I have a question. Harald, did you speak to the bid, the 125th Street bid, or those people that are known in that area? Because there's a lot of activity that goes on that corner that you are doing, and I strongly suggest that you at least call the leadership that's in that area.
This is being done from community organizers. They reached out to our office for help and support. So I'll reach out to the organizers to see if they've touched base with the bid.
Yep, because I don't think they did, and they should.
So there was a board meeting with the 125th Street bid this morning that I participated in. So we can get you in touch with them, Will, if you don't have their contact information.
Yep, I'm in contact with them, but okay. Thank you.
Great. All right, brilliant. All right, are there any questions for Robert? Seeing as there are none, thank you for coming to our full board virtual meeting. Love the backdrop. So And thanks
We
for
still
putting
got
on.
kids going to bed right now.
Exactly. Same here. Same here. Okay, wonderful.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you very much. Happy holidays. Let's move along. Next we have up is Maggie from Council Member Ayala's office.
Good evening, everybody. Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Oh, great. Excellent. My name is Maggie McDermott. I'm here to represent the office of Council Member Diana Ayala. First of all, Council Member Ayala would like to wish each and every one of you a very happy holiday season. She would also like to remind everyone to err on the safe side when it comes to COVID-19. Our numbers are steadily rising, unfortunately. So please continue to wear your mask and adhere to all of the COVID-19 safety protocols that are in place in regards to the social distancing, mask usage, hand sanitizing, and constant hand washing. We are still opened and we are running on a full staff. We are open from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the number to the district office is 212-828-9800. Today, Council Member Ayala hosted her 125th Street Corridor Overview meeting with city agencies, elected official, and some state agencies as well, including Oasis. The topic of conversation was, as I mentioned last month, in November, Council Member Ayala was joined by Mayor de Blasio, Senator Benjamin, the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, HRA, New York Police Department, Department of Sanitation, and Department of Parks and Recreation. She was joined by those entities, their commissioners, to take a tour of the 125th Street corridor, which included Art and McNair Parks. Since then, since following the mayor's visit, the below listed changes were implemented. The Department of Sanitation has power washed the 125th Street corridor on a daily basis throughout the month of November, weather permitting. If the weather is too cold, they cannot power wash because the water freezes. There have been additional street outreach groups deployed to engage with homeless individuals. Officers from the 25th Precinct have made several large K2, gun, and other narcotic arrests. McNair and Art Parks now have Parks and Recreation officers posted outside to ensure that individuals without children are not utilizing that park for substance use and sales. Okay, so that's one piece. Also, Councilmember Ayala forwarded a letter to Commissioner Chosky to urge prioritization of individuals with intellectual developmental disabilities in vaccine distribution. So she's awaiting word in regards to that. She's also co-sponsored several legislative bills. And that's really about it.
Thank you so much, Maggie. Glad to have you here. Do we have any questions from our board members or the public? Please raise your hand. Okay, we have a hand. Let's see, Eva.
Yes, thank you for the update. I'm glad to hear of the progress made on 125th Street. I just want to ask about the arrest that took place. Is that related to the mayor's visit? Is this an investigation that been ongoing? Is how much of an impact do you think it will make? So first question.
Thank you for asking that question. So we cannot decipher whether it's a direct result of the mayor's visit, and it's, you know, the arrests have been made. It happens to have transpired post the tour. So I cannot speak on whether it was a direct result or not, but I can say that there is a heightened police presence. Councilmember Ayala also spoke to developers to request lighting in the construction area, in the Extel construction area where Pathmark used to be. So now that is very, very well lit, because prior it was dangerous for commuters and residents to walk past the construction area. So the arrests, it's my understanding, were a result of the heightened police presence and the
Get the catfish. Can I get
hello?
like maybe
Hold on. All right, Maggie, please continue. Please mute yourself. Go on, Maggie.
Okay, so I think, so that was the first piece of the question. Is it a direct result? You know, I can't speak on that. That would be a question for the 25th precinct and Manhattan North.
Yeah, it's
because
really
my
helpful to, I think my main question is, how sustainable these improvements are, and to hear that there's heightened police presence and also request for lighting. I think that's a really big improvement. So thank you.
Thank you so much. But I do want to say that there's a problem. The arrests seem to be being made, right? But the individuals who are arrested are released from custody right away. So that's kind of where even if they're caught with a substantial amount of K2, which is synthetic marijuana, there appear to be legislative loophole in which these individuals are released back into society at a rapid pace. So in other words, the arrests are kind of not useful because they're right back on the street the next day.
In your view, what are the root cause of the observations on 125th Street?
Can you repeat that?
In your view, what are the root causes of these observations or issues on 125th Street? Are we kind of working to address the root cause right now?
No, absolutely. I mean, the root causes are quite clear. Homelessness, there are drug sales and purchases going on there. There are quality of life issues. Individuals are defecating in the street and things of that nature. There is a dire need for behavioral health services, especially for the very seriously mentally ill individuals that are on the corridor. So the needs are identified, and they're actually long-standing needs. It's fair to say this, didn't happen overnight, and it can't be fixed, so to speak, overnight either. It's, there have been improvements, but can I say that there have been significant improvements? It's an ongoing process.
Thank you. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Eva. Are
Thank
there any
you.
other questions from board members of the public? Okay. Seeing that
Thank
there are
you
none,
all.
thank you
Happy
very
holidays,
much.
everybody. Thank
And
you.
Happy holidays. And next we have is Lauren Dunn from Senator Benjamin's office.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yes, thanks for the intro. I'm Lauren Dunn. I'm from Senator Brian Benjamin's office. I'll put my email and cell phone number in the chat where you guys can reach me or text me or call me. So first of all, happy holidays, everyone. I hope despite everything going on that we're still able to find a little bit of warmth and happiness and comfort in the holiday season. So as for my updates, Senator Benjamin has just has been working on this bill that would basically require the city and the state fiscal watchdogs to release annual reports breaking down specific information about settled claims made against the police. The reports would offer details about claims made against departments across the state, including the NYPD. And the hope is that it will increase transparency. So as of right now, that bill does not have a official legislative bill number. It's in the format of what's known as a LBD, which is a legislative bill draft. So that's in the works right now. Senator Benjamin also signed on to a pandemic food insecurity letter, which basically aims to decrease food insecurity and also increase aid, change some of the policies regarding public charge, SNAP rules, providing immigrants with nutrition program benefits and other basic needs and supports. And for the duration of the COVID-19 pandemic, ensuring that all SNAP recipients receive emergency allotments of SNAP, including ones that are retroactive back to March 2020. That was a letter that was addressed to President-elect Biden. So we hope to create a line of communication and continue to have that conversation there. And lastly, Senator Benjamin just did a PPP, which is a payroll protection program call with Congressman Espaillat. So the hope is that grant funding will be available for smaller mom and pop businesses, and that some type of stimulus package will be passed and signed into law soon. For those that don't know, PPP is basically it's known as a payroll protection plan, and it's a form of a loan that helps businesses keep their workforce employed during the COVID-19 crisis. It's directed to small businesses to keep their workers on payroll, and the loans are forgiven if certain criteria are met. There's an employee retention criteria, and funds have to be used for eligible expenses. And I'll definitely also link to additional information to the website that provides additional specific information about that program. We wanna make sure to encourage small businesses to reach out to their lenders and ask and other lending financial institutions to ask about how they can apply for the PPP program. And if possible, where possible, use smaller financial institutions rather than large banks. And that's really it for me. I hope you guys have a happy holiday. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to oblige.
Are there any questions for Lauren? Okay, see it that there are no hands raised from our board members or public. Thank you very much. Happy holidays to you and the entire team.
Thank you.
At Senator Benjamin's office. Okay, next up we have our very own Nina Saxon from the Comptroller's office. Nina.
Hi, good evening, Community Board 11. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm going to be quick because I know that you all have a very busy evening. First of all, I want to give my condolences. We lost a good one, Edwin Marcial. When I first was on Community Board 11, he was one of the first to open me up with open arms. And so my deepest condolences goes to his family and to everybody on CB11. Secondly, the controller came out with a couple of reports that I'm going to put into the chat. One is our annual Making the Grade report. And this is when you get to see what agencies and how they do well with MWBEs. Our city has to get better with giving contracts to minority-owned women businesses, especially with African Americans and Latinos. But they're making a grade. You can look at it. Any feedback, please feel free to contact me. Also, the controller came out with a proposed plan to support and promote small businesses this holiday season during COVID-19. I'm going to also put that in the chat. If you have any businesses or know any businesses, please pass both reports along or to anyone that is that's an advocate. Another thing, which I think this is a really great, and I would love to either partner with Community Board 11 or any organization within East Harlem, and it's our workshops on prevailing wages. So we've been doing these workshops and have been giving out payout through all the city to immigrant workers who either construction jobs don't pay them. We have been finding this, and we have been paying immigrant workers who are not getting paid for services. We have been doing also these workshops all around the city in immigrant areas to talk about this stuff and how everyone can get involved. I would love it to do a workshop either with Community Board 11, maybe Union Settlement or another organization, and in East Harlem to see whether or not if there are any prevailing wages or immigrant workers in East Harlem that are getting screwed in their jobs. So that's the last thing that I have. I just, tomorrow's going to be a big time snow day. So I just ask for everyone, please look out for each other. I might call some of y'all just to make sure that everyone is okay. But this is the opportunity for us to look out for our brothers and sisters in our communities. That is all I have. And if anyone has any questions, please let me know.
Great, Nina, thank you. Do we have any questions from our members or the public? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Thank you very much, Nina, for all the work you do and the comptroller's work as well. Thank you for always being here with us. Next we have, let's see, we have a representative from Consumer Affairs at the NYPD. Let's see. Seen them in the chat earlier, but my Zoom crashed. Who's the member from NYPD who's come to attend? Carly?
Akeem Duggan.
Okay. Akeem?
I'm not sure that he is still on.
Okay. If he comes back, we'll give him a few moments. In that case, if there are no other elected officials on, I think that will conclude our elected official reports, and it's time for our borough president's report. Is Gail with us? I don't see her.
She's not with us just yet.
Okay. All right. We will circle back to Gail when she's able to log on. All right. If we can move along next slide, please. Great. So Nilsa, are you there? It looks like she's logged on. Bear with her for.
Hi, Xavier, you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, hello. Thank you, Xavier, as usual, for doing such a great job with the public session. My apologies to all. I got stuck at work. So with that conclusion of the public session, reserving the right that when Gail joins our meeting, we will just take a break and allow her to give her report. I'm going to move into the business session at 7:28. And with that, I ask Angel Muscane to call the roll for this business session.
Okay. Jose Altamirano. Stephanie Arroyo. I know I saw her before. Stephanie? Dan Brija?
Here.
Team Brooks? Yolanda Brown? Eva Chan?
So then I will call her in a minute. Sure. Thank you. Bye.
Eva Chan?
Present.
Ann Collier? Carlos, Angela Donadell,
Present.
thank you. Jessica Elliott, Jessica Elliott. No, I saw these names before. Where's it? Okay. Elsie Encarnacion,
Present.
Judith Febraro,
Here.
Roger Flores,
Here.
Cindy Garcia, Cindy, David Giordano,
Present.
Joe Goldblum,
Here.
John Green,
Here.
Robert Harvey,
Here.
Jada Heredia, Jada, Ivy Hume, Ivy, Jean-Pierre Camois, Jean-Pierre, Amy Quiros Petrucci, Amy, Chesley Riano, Chesley, Marissa Mack,
Here.
Giselle Malave,
Here.
Patricia Martin,
Here.
thank you. Francis Mastroda,
Present.
Malik
Present.
McCullough, thank you, Francis. Malik McCullough, Malik, Jennifer Meyer,
Here.
Jessica Morris,
Here.
Nelsa Arama,
Here.
Andrew Padilla, Andrew,
Here.
thank you. Arturo Perez, here. Celia Ramirez, Celia, Don Sanders, one, Xavier Santiago,
Here.
Jeremiah Slotman,
Here.
Isaac Scott,
Here.
Russell Schuler,
Present.
Vinnie Torres, I don't wish that Russell had been absent, so I could have said Schuler twice. That would have been cool. Jason Villanueva,
Present.
Steven Villanueva,
Present.
Andy is excused. Nye Whitaker is excused. Michelle,
Present.
Jason Wu, I saw him before. We have quorum.
Thank you so much, Angel.
Mhm.
Is there a motion to adopt the agenda dated December 15, 2020?
Motion by Villanueva.
Second.
Second by?
Michelle Wiltshire Clement.
Thank you so much. Well, we're gonna take a vote at the end. We're gonna bundle all the items with the adoption of the agenda, the chair report, the district manager report, and officers report at one time. Okay, and with that, I'm going to move to the chair report. As usual, I want to thank the board for being proactive on a lot of issues that our community is facing. And I want to thank the committees themselves who are being very proactive in trying to raise issues and concerns and trying to find ways to help mitigate them. For this month, I've been participating more so in meetings, obviously Zoom meetings. Today we had the 125th Street Task Force meeting and the discussion of the concerns, obviously, of 125th Street. And while it's been noted that some issues are lessening, the concerns are still there. You can't completely erase all the factors that help to make that perfect storm on 125th, but I can say that from the various parties on the call, there's a concerted effort to try to bring down a lot of the homelessness in the area, trying to address mental health issues, the drug dealing. There is more of a police presence on certain times of the day in that area. And it has been reported that some people are seeing a positive, we're getting some positive feedback on that. Of course, these are long-standing issues and things don't disappear overnight. And this is going to take a lot of work from a lot of stakeholders. And it's just something that has to be reinforced over and over and over again. The Friends of La Marqueta had several meetings because they have put out a request for expressions of interest for market partner. There was various submissions to EDC, and now they are reviewing these submissions to decide on a certain number of finalists to then have those discussions with a blind briefing with the Friends of La Marqueta. I participated this month in East Harlem Consortium meetings and various elected official meetings regarding the community, regarding COVID. It is gratifying to see that vaccinations are now available in the United States and in New York particularly. And it's important that Community Board 11 keeps its eye on specific rollouts for our community and what the need is and how we make sure that that we are proactive in ensuring that we get what we need for this community. I want to take a moment of silence, which I should have done at the beginning, for the passing of a longstanding board member, Edwin Marcial. So if we can give a moment of silence to Edwin right now, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. For those on the board who had the privilege of working with Edwin, Edwin was one of our longest board members, and he had an affinity for the community. He loved this community. He loved Puerto Rico as well. He had various projects that he was working on. He was one of the founders for the Teatro Moderno. He was looking into projects right before he passed. And a little known secret of his was that he was thinking of going back to running. Had been approached to run for public office in Puerto Rico, which speaks to how well he was thought of. And so he will definitely be missed on this community board. He was a mentor to a lot of board members, and he will surely be missed. I'd like to make an announcement that Zenalyn Arciaga has resigned from the board. She is relocating, and she will not be able to continue her duties. With that, the assistant secretary moves up to the board secretary position. And if there is a conflict where those duties can't be carried out, then we will then move in a different direction. I want to thank Robert Harvey as a board member. He has been present. He has relocated as well. And so he will no longer be on the board after a certain point in time. And I want to thank him for his generosity and his time and his comments.
No, sir, I'm sorry. Ray Biggs, not Robert Harvey.
Oh, Robert Harvey, I take you back. Ray Biggs. Wrote the wrong name. Sorry, Ray Biggs. So everything I said for Robert, I meant for Ray. If there was a way that we could keep Ray, if Ray could come back 10 months of the year, we'd love to have you, but we hope, Ray, that you continue to participate at least through our Zoom calls, and because we need everyone, all hands on deck. And while I understand that you will be coming back and forth a lot, and I really wish there was a way we can keep you, I'm really hoping that when you're here, you're present. I take you back, Robert, and I'm sorry to give you up, Ray. With that, I need a cup of coffee. With that, I am going to move to the district manager's report. Thank you for that correction, Angel.
No problem. Our President Brewer is on if you want to recognize people for me.
Angel, go ahead. I can wait. Go ahead, Angel.
I was just going to talk about you for a couple of minutes.
No, you're not, Angel. You're talking about business in the neighborhood. Go ahead.
So my report is brief. I was off most of this month. But I did want to say one, that community board applications are up, but one and more, like a personal note for the office. It's been, I think it's been repeated super often how difficult this year has been. And it's required a lot of flexibility and a lot of creativity and, and frankly, a sense of humor and a good humor to be able to get through this challenging year. As you all know, we have not been physically in the office all year with a relatively, new staff, been with us over a year, but still relatively new. And they've gone, they've gone over and above and been very creative and dogged and, really hardworking throughout our absence from the community board office physically. We haven't missed a beat for the most part. Of course, there are things that we can't do at a distance. And I think all, government agencies are experiencing that same thing, but I did want to make sure to give a word of thanks to both, Marlene and Carly for all that they've done this year, throughout all these challenges. They're really hard workers, so it probably doesn't seem like much to them, but I very much appreciate it because it does not go unrecognized and unappreciated. And I wanted to make sure to note that during our full board meeting before we let the year expire. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Angel. And I concur with everything that Angel says. Sometimes work gets done and we don't realize the effort that it takes. And I can honestly attest to the fact that it appears that people have more time available because they're working from home. And I will tell you that that is such a misnomer. That is not true. If anything, you work more because you don't want to give the appearance that you're a slacker. And so I too, my apologies to Marlene and Carly, because I should also recognize that, but you guys do it so flawlessly that sometimes I forget. So I want to echo everything that Angel says. Since day one, you have just jumped in with both feet, working and doing things that are even above your job description. And so I too want to thank you for all your hard work. With that, I'm going to move to Miss Gail Brewer.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Just a few things. First of all, thank you for greeting me at Edwin's service. His family is obviously fantastic, in addition to his friends. And I hope that we will, all I can think of is how much he wanted to do a museum of sorts for East Harlem. It's something we'll keep working on that so that it takes place in his name. And then second, I want to thank Jason Wu for showing up today. Manhattan Neighborhood Network will be, I think on Sunday, we'll get you the information. Jason was one of the stars of talking about what a community board entails and trying to get more people to apply. We had people from different community boards, but Jason, thank you very much. You were terrific. A few things, obviously COVID. So the PPE, all of us elected officials have, and we've been given out. Some of the uptown zip codes are even higher than East Harlem as we speak. So we've been a lot in Inwood, for instance, and parts of West Harlem. But the issue is we in our office now have 7 people who are trained in how to administer, in a sense, micro testing. So we're going to start doing it anybody can get tested. We will give you the information. You can set up a testing site, give you a kit, show you how to do it, and you got to do it. So that's better than waiting in lines sometimes at some of these long testing sites. Number one. Number two, different topic, something positive. We all miss Alden Bonillo as the deputy borough president, but he's at the fund for the city of New York. And he has a gazillion dollars in funding for the arts, particularly for the community of color. So make sure that you apply in East Harlem, which has so many arts organization and artists. It's all on our newsletter and our site, but make sure you do that. I also want to thank Councilmember Ayala, your chair. Thank you, Nilsa, and the assembly member, because I thought the discussion, I'm sure was mentioned, of how to deal with the challenges of 125th Street, 116th Street, 110th Street, and all the different social service and city state agencies was excellent. So we just keep figuring out. We'll work with the district attorney. That was one suggestion that I had, and we'll try to find other partners. I also want to congratulate the community board, because Vanessa, who's head of our budget division, said she had a great discussion about budget, district needs statement, data, what the nonprofits get in terms of funding, how does it all fit into the community board area, et cetera. Because, you know, even though it sounds like all should be on some kind of a spreadsheet, it isn't. And so I just want to congratulate you on trying to put all those pieces together. It's not easy. In terms of schools and devices, I am so sick of talking about this topic. So we have started, apparently, some of the money of our $15 million from last year's budget has started to be available to the schools for these devices or whatever technology they want. But guess what? What's really going on is that the young people who had devices, they have old equipment. It doesn't work anymore. So it may show on a spreadsheet that X child has a device, but it's not really working. And then the question is, does the iPad have the power? What kind of device is actually in the home? I don't think anybody really knows. We are gonna call every single school in the borough of Manhattan to find out, because there isn't any data that's reliable. So I just wanna say, Community Board 4 CEC is very much on top of this, but it is not something that anybody, I think, has correctly on a data sheet. And to me, it's beyond frustrating. I think you know that we're going to talk about the urban renewal area because it has both Board 11 and Board 10 on Thursday, December 17th at our borough board. It's a public meeting. Everybody's welcome to participate. And then I want to just say that we had, again, back to the budget, all on our website is archived, how to apply for funding if you're a public school and how to apply funding if you're a nonprofit, sort of picking up on what you and Vanessa spoke about in the budget discussion. Community board applications are due February 1st, as you know, and I just want to say that everybody has, you know, working holidays, toys, food, support. So we are working with a group called the SLED, and it's, you know, there's so many excellent organizations, but this is just a group that we know they're working with the schools and 16 shelters. But what was really gratifying to me was that as a result of our newsletter, they basically say they have a child, the child wants X because they've been to every school and every shelter, and then you sign up to get the child. So I think they had 2,500 kids or maybe a few more, and we had 1,200 people as a result of our newsletter who signed up and bought a gift. So you can just see the power of the goodness that, believe it or not, sometimes social media offers. Thank you very much, Board 11, for everything that you're doing. I really appreciate it. Staff and members and community.
Thank you so much, Gail, and we want to thank you for all the hard work. You're everywhere. I don't know how you do it. I'm exhausted thinking about it, but somehow you manage from the very early part of the day to the late evening. And I want to thank you for making it a point to come and pay your respects to Edwin Marcial. That meant the world to his family as well as to Community Board 11. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, we're going to move to the officers' reports to our Vice Chair, Xavier Santiago.
Hi, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you're all staying safe and warm during these times. And thanks, Gail, for all that you do. And appreciate your comments during our 125th Street Task Force meeting. We've, during this month, We have been trying to keep our local businesses engaged. Uptown Grand Central has been sponsoring a grab and go or drive and go at Urban Garden Center. I've gone out there most of the weekends. This is their last weekend coming up this Saturday. So if you can, take a little cash, buy some food and some gifts. Also earlier this last week, I went out to and joined our assembly member to say thank you to our frontline workers. We try to hit as many as possible, and they were very, very appreciative, and they were glad to have a community board presence. They will be reaching out because they'd like to come. We often see our 23rd or 25th, our PSA 5, but the engines and ladders, they were expressly appreciative, as was ArchCare and Henry J. Carter. They will be starting back up their cap respectively, but everything's kind of on a hiatus. And also too, with our Tuskegee Airmen Bus Depot with TWU Local 100, they were extremely excited to have some thanks given, and they will be reaching out to our public safety and transportation to stay in contact. Also, Marissa Mack, thank you for inviting me to say a few words at the HDFC Awards. It's their second year. If you want to learn more about it, I've included a link in my report. We also have, I caught the tail end of a call with our Congressman Espiat and what they're doing with the PPP program. A lot of our criticisms from Northern Manhattan, and especially from our district, were heated. And you can see in my report, they are focusing more on the carve-outs for small businesses that have employees of 10 or fewer. Also to simplify the loan forgiveness process, and also just to qualify, because many of them, they're doing at the maximum, they're counting on Quicken. And that makes it very difficult. Also to one of the issues that they wanted to put in were to streamline the loans under 150,000, which is a lot of money, but for a small business, you can go through that very, very quickly with your overhead and everything. And then the final bit with that is that they wanted to find a way to make sure that people could get online faster, so pre-registration. And please keep tuned in to Congress. Some other, again, Nilsa already hit the highlights with the 125th Street Task Force. I attended the 125th Street bid. I think it would behoove us to take on with our Economic Development Committee, expanding upon that and having our own bid from this section. But I think that is part and parcel with the conversations we're having with our task force. And I think that can be one variable that will help in our common pursuits. And so the other two aspects are less joyful, but I'm seeing too many people out there not wearing masks. And we see our numbers up as a direct cause. And I have spoken to people like Andrew Padilla, who he and I had a very honest conversation about it. We're seeing people just not wearing them, where you got 8-10 people in a bodega with no masks on, or not wearing them properly. And I think if we're going to get in front of this, we have to remind our community members as leaders that they have to put on their masks because it can save a life, even as we have the vaccine rollout. And the final bit is I did join Nilsa and Diane Collier, who was there to attend Edwin's wake. I cannot begin to tell you that he, when I came to this board, like Francis and many others, took me in and I basically drank from a fire hose. And learning not just the general history, but all the insight, the subtler nuances about why decisions were made, the history, the interactions block to block, several block radiuses. And he really had a lot of heart. And ironically, he knew of my family down on the island, and just it kind of ingratiated and created a very good working relationship. And one of the things he cared a lot about was the El Barrio Walk of Fame. And this is something he never got to see happen. And I hope this board can take it upon themselves, along with our other items that we're advocating for, to see if there's a way to make that happen down the line. I think he would be a great first star. So with that, I'll leave it with everyone. I want you to please have happy holidays, stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, and I'm here if you need anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Xavier. with that, I'll move to our treasurer, Jason Villanueva. Jason, do you have a report?
No, Chair, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And as I stated before, our secretary, Denelyn Arciaga, resigned. So with that, I'm going to bundle the adoption of the agenda, the chair's report, the district manager's report, and the officer's report you just heard into one bundle for as a voting block. Is there a motion to approve the agenda, chair's report, district manager, officers' reports as mentioned?
Motion to approve
Motion by
Yolanda
Villanueva.
Brown.
I'm sorry, who was speaking first?
Motion to
Jace? Yes, go ahead.
Yolanda Brown.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
Second by
all the-
Villanueva.
Okay. All right. Can we call a roll call vote? Angel?
Stephanie Arroyo,
Yes, aye.
Dan Brija,
Yes.
Londa Brown,
Yes.
Eva Chan,
Yes.
Ann Collier,
Yes.
Angela Donadell, Jessica Elliott,
Yes.
Elsie Encarnacion,
Yes.
Judith Ferraro,
Yes.
Roger Flores,
Yes.
David Giordano,
Yes.
Joe Goldblum, John Green,
Aye.
Robert Harvey,
Yes.
Marissa Mack,
Yes.
Giselle Malave,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Francis Mastorda,
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Francis. Jennifer Meyer,
Yes.
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Nelson Rama,
Yes.
Andrew Padilla,
Yes.
Art Perez,
Yes.
Xavier Santiago,
Yes.
Jeremiah Schlotman,
Yes.
Isaac Scott,
Yes.
Russell Schuler,
Yes.
Jason Villanueva,
Present.
Stephen Villanueva,
Yes.
Michelle Wiltshire Clement,
Yes.
Jason Wu. Motion passes.
Thank you. I noticed that Joe Goldblum is under the attendees. I'm not sure if that may be giving him an issue in trying to respond when we ask a question of him, just to bring that to your attention. He is on the call though. All right.
Also, I'm on the call, Nelson Malik.
Oh,
And yes,
okay. So Malik
Thank you,
is also
Malik.
on the call. Okay. Okay.
Also, Nilsa, Stephanie Arroyo, I had lost connectivity earlier before roll call, but I've been here, FYI.
Okay. All right, we'll make a notation of it. Okay. With that, we're going to move to licenses and permits. Chair Adem Briha.
Yep, hold on, let me just turn my video on. Okay, hi, everyone. I'm Adem Bria. I'm the chair of the License and Permits Committee. Thankfully for all of us, this month we had a very short agenda, so we only had 2 liquor license applications. So the first one was Quesadillas Matty Corp. It was a new application for a full liquor license for a restaurant at 2141 2nd Avenue.
that's on 110th Street. And the committee recommended that that application be approved. And then the second and final item was Las Panteras Negras. It's a new application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 2130 Second Avenue, also on 110th Street. And the committee also recommended that that application be approved. And that application was approved without a sidewalk, their request for a sidewalk cafe, because we had not heard from DC Department of Consumer Affairs yet. And right now everyone can have outdoor seating. So we didn't think that it was, time was not of the essence on that matter. That's it.
Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
So what I'd like to do is I'm going to take two separate motions for, but I would like to bundle the vote. So is there a motion to accept the committee recommendation for number one, Quesadillas Matty Corp, for the approval of a new application for full liquor license?
Motion by Villanueva.
Motion by Stephanie Arroyo.
Okay, so I'll take the second as Stephanie, for Stephanie Arroyo. Okay, with the second, with the item is Las Panteras Negras, doing business as Las Panteras. There was, the committee recommended that the application be approved for new application for full liquor license. Is there a motion to?
Motion to approve.
Okay. Judith Fabraro, is there a second?
Malik.
Malik McCullough. Okay. With that, we're going to bundle those two and we're going to call a roll call vote for those two items. Angel?
Stephanie Arroyo,
Yes.
Dan Brija,
Yes.
Rev Brown,
Yes.
Eva,
Yes.
Diane,
Oh, yes. Sorry.
that's okay. Angela,
Yes.
Jessica Elliott,
Yes.
Elsie,
Yes. Yes.
Judith,
Is that me? Yes.
thank you, Judith. Raja,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Angel.
Bill Goldblum,
Yes.
John Green,
Aye.
Robert Harvey,
Yes.
Marissa,
Yes.
Giselle,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Francis, Francis. Okay. Malik,
Yes.
Jennifer, Jennifer Meyer,
Yes. Yes.
thank you, Jennifer. Jessica Morris,
Yes.
thank you. Nelsa,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
thank you. Arturo,
Yes.
thank you. Xavier,
Yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Jason Villanueva,
Yes.
Stephen Villanueva,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes, and yes.
Jason Wu. Jason Wu. Motion passes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Adem. We're gonna now move to land use, landmarks, and planning. Chair Stephen Villanueva.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the committee, the board, and the public. I am on the road right now, so I am going to ask our committee liaison, Angel, to review the first action item, which is zoning for coastal flood resiliency. This particular action item was both a public hearing, presentation, and additionally, committee deliberation and vote. There was a motion to support with specific conditions. And as I stated a minute ago, I'm going to pass on to Angel for the review.
Thank you, Stephen.
Sure. So as Stephen stated, this is a full land use application for a proposed zoning text amendment for zoning for coastal and flood resiliency, which was subject to a public hearing last month. Well, which was subject to a public hearing this month. We got a presentation from the Department of City Planning, who presented and addressed questions from the committee and the public. The motion from the committee was to approve the proposed text amendment with 3 conditions. The first being that DCP and city agencies provide with full transparency the East Harlem resiliency study pertaining to the resiliency for our community and citywide comprehensive strategies. 2, that proposed modifications to the floodplain be brought to the community board for approval. And 3rd, that proposed modifications to allow accessory mechanical buildings be brought to the community board for approval. And then of course, that any work done as a result of these text amendments conform to Community Board 11's local hiring guidelines.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you very much, Angel.
No problem.
All right, so we're just gonna take each one separately. So everyone, the board has heard what was reviewed by Angel Muscane and Stephen Villanueva. Is there a motion regarding this item to accept the recommendation of the committee? Or is there a motion at all?
Motion to accept the position of the committee, if possible, to make a friendly amendment to the language in the recommendations.
Okay. I just want some clarity. Jessica, were you at that meeting when this was decided?
Yes, I was. We developed the conditions through a process of deliberation in the chat.
Okay, let me, yeah, let me, I just want to get clarity from Angel before I ask for a second, okay?
Yep.
In terms of process. Angel, the friendly amendment, is it proposed after a second, or the friendly amendment is proposed after discussion? I just want to make sure that procedurally I'm following the proper protocol for friendly amendment.
Yeah, I'm not the Robert's Rules person, so I don't have it perfectly commit to memory, but yeah, you can entertain a friendly amendment.
Okay, before the second?
Sure.
Nelsa, as a point of order, real quick, we have a motion that was recommended from the committee.
Right.
If there is not a motion before the floor, the person can make a motion to take on that with any amendments.
Right.
If there's a second.
No, what I wanted to clarify was before I move to the second, the proper procedure. If I entertain the friendly amendment before second, or do I just she put in that she approved it with a friendly and wanted to do a friendly amendment.
Okay,
So I
so
wanted to know when that should occur, because the motion was clear as to what the discussion points were for the
okay,
committee.
so for procedurally, you would have a motion if you've called and asked for a motion on this particular item before our floor as it is presented to this body, as it is written. It can be taken, and if it is seconded, then there can be a motion to amend the text, whatever that, what we call a friendly amendment, meaning like we're not poo-pooing it away. So you'd need a second, then you could adopt it that way. That would probably be the cleanest way to do
Right,
it.
but the question is that within the body of her motion, she added, she wanted the friendly amendment. She did not say, I take it as written. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes, I do. I think it would be better for our process to take what the committee has presented. And if we receive a motion to adopt what the committee has approved and then a second, then she could motion to amend
Right.
that. And then we would take a full vote on that amendment, and it either passes or fails. And then we revert back to the original motion for the committee's recommendation.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get the second on that. So I want the clarification.
So you would need, the first is we have to call for is there a motion to adopt the committee's recommendation? Is there's a first and second, and then there could be a motion to amend. If we fail that, if we don't get a second, then she can motion to come back and present what her amendment is. But I think it's cleaner just to do the first and second, then she submits her amendment.
I second the amendment, second the proposal then. Michelle Wilshire Clement.
So
Wait.
Okay.
No, you would be. I don't think that I'm being clear. Because she wanted to approve, but with a friendly amendment, then I have to set aside that motion and call for a new motion to adopt the committee's recommendation as written, and then a friendly amendment can occur.
Correct. That would be the best, because that is what the business before the board. Correct.
And then Jessica can then make her friendly amendment.
Correct.
Within the body of her motion, she inserted the friendly amendment, and that's why I didn't want to move forward. So I'm going to set that aside since I did not accept a second on it. I will accept a motion. Michelle Wilshire Clemens did a second. Ms. Clemens, do you want to make the motion to approve the committee recommendation as written?
Yes, I will approve the motion as written.
Okay, is there a second?
Yes, I have a question about the motion.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who's speaking to me? Let me get out of the screen.
Diane.
Hi, Diane.
We were in the midst of making a motion, and there's a couple of at least I have a question about the actual recommendation coming out of the committee. And have we opened it up for discussion?
We were gonna do that on the second.
Okay, all right, because I do have some questions.
Good, absolutely, Diane. I'll call you next, okay? So is there a second for the motion made by Michelle Wilshire Clemens?
Can I second the motion?
Who's that? Jessica?
Yes.
Okay. So it's seconded by Jessica. Now I'm gonna open it for discussion. Diane, start your questions.
Okay, so my understanding that the presentation that was given is pretty much a cookie cutter presentation that they've been giving to every board. So it's like whatever is general, it's a general presentation. This is what they're looking to do for every community. And there have been some boards that ask them to come back with more specificity. That's why when I'm looking at the motion, there's a couple of lines here, proposed modifications to the flood plan. What is that? Proposed B, proposed modifications to allow accessory. I mean, it's not listed as to what those proposed modifications were. Am I making sense to everybody?
Yes, yes. Stephen, can you speak to that?
Yes. So the Department of City Planning has close to 200 pages of text amendments. So to keep it succinct, based on the presentation we were given, and more so the memo that George James put together, all of which have been shared, the proposed modifications that were specified by committee members are as follows. The floodplain. What is the floodplain? It's basically an invisible line. Anything below that line can be flooded. So buildings have to be on the occupiable floors built above that line. Anything below that line in terms of the elevation doesn't count as part of the FAR. Second, that includes giving them some proposed options for moving the mechanicals. So accessory buildings were one of the items that were reviewed in terms of the potential for being relocated outside of the building footprint itself and taking up that rear portion of the property. What was the third question?
I basically said that this was my understanding, this was a cookie cutter presentation that they were giving to all 59 boards in the city, nothing specific to the areas that they were talking to. And it was, I guess it sounds like it's incumbent upon the community boards or the districts to explain exactly what they would want specifically for their district.
Got it. So it cookie cutter, I mean, it could be used as a pretty reasonable explanation. The zoning for coastal flood resiliency is a citywide plan. So each of the boards is given the opportunity to weigh in on it. With that being said, some of those discussions that were centered around East Harlem and the map that was given showed a significant portion of East Harlem was covered in that map. So the questions that were brought, the conditions that were brought forth by the committee members were specific to our district. However, there was no specific East Harlem zoning for coastal flood resiliency presentation that was given, nor were we informed that there would be one. So the presentation was the program in itself and the change to the zoning text.
Nelsa, I have my hand raised if I could just supplement that.
Yes,
quickly.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Stephen, and thank you, Diane. I just wanted to clarify as well that for the first point that there was a study done specifically for our neighborhood, and George James tried to foil that from to get that information to the community board. The only information that we were able to get was redacted versions of that. So I think that it's important with the full, the citywide planning that we also make sure that they are transparent with us about the studies pertaining to directly to our neighborhood. Thanks.
Jessica, much appreciated.
Xavier?
Real quick, and thank you, Land Use and everyone for your work. We did have Councilmember Ayala attend our District Needs and Budget Committee meeting, where we did ask her and raise this issue because it related to budget requests and how we appropriate funds in our process as mandated in the New York City Charter. She said she would try to help dig that up because she said she should be able to see that from DCP. But there was no timeline for when we would have that deliverable. So just sharing that information that we also should have access, equal access to this information to make informed decisions. But just keep giving you an update. I wish we had it on the day, but thank you.
Okay.
Nelsa, I also have my hand up, Jessica Morris.
Oh, yes, I see you. I was just going to call you now, Jessica. Go ahead, Jessica.
So, and Diane, this might speak to your point and is, I think, the appropriate moment to reference the friendly amendment, which is
okay.
language clarification. on condition A. Diane, in the meeting, brought up that what was presented to us was not in any way specific to East Harlem's particular forte for resilience. And I think what happens in East Harlem is different than what happens in the Far Rockaways. And so this being a really big zoning amendment that is coming out of and 14 years after Hurricane Sandy, I think the recognition of the importance of the different types of resiliency strategies in different places that respond to the strengths and weaknesses of different communities is super important for the Department of City Planning and all city agencies to be in concert with and understanding of when they provide us, yes, with cookie cutter presentations. So by making the friendly amendment change to read in condition A, that DCP and city agencies will provide with full transparency the East Harlem Resiliency Study pertaining to the resiliency of our community and the comprehensive citywide resilience strategies, period, alluding to the fact that this zoning text amendment is only one piece of the resiliency puzzle that is in play, and that East Harlem's particular needs as far as accommodating for a more resilient community aren't necessarily most effectively supported by this zoning text amendment, that there are other pieces of the puzzle that matter more to us, and we need to understand what those are in conjunction with this component to know how we're being supported and considered as a community. So hopefully that clarification alludes to the type of specificity that you're suggesting was not present in the presentation, and I would agree with you.
Okay. Thank you, Jessica. I'm just going to look if there's any more hands, then I'm going to go back to. I see no hands. Okay. So Jessica, I just want to repeat what you said in terms of your friendly amendment. Just so that I'm clear, you were specifying letter A, and you wanted to clarify the language to be a little bit more specific to state DCP and city agencies will provide with full transparency the East Harlem Resiliency Study pertaining to the resiliency of our community and the comprehensive citywide resilience strategies. Is that correct?
That's correct, Nilsa. Yes, thank you for entertaining this friendly amendment.
Okay. Is there any questions on Jessica's friendly amendment before I take a motion on the friendly amendment? Diane?
I understand. Listen, I understand that when it comes to these types of presentations, not only are they lengthy and they can be sometimes overbearing to hear, but I think particularly when you are saying yes, you approve it, we need more specificity. This is Diane talking. What those modifications are. What in the East, unless we're attaching the East Harlem Resiliency Study, the proposed modifications, whatever was mentioned as it relates to the mechanics, and the mechanics will vary depending on where we are within the East Harlem district. I'm sure everybody realizes that, because what happens on the 135th Street doesn't happen on 106th Street. So I'm not comfortable, but that is my concern. That's why I keep pushing back a little harder about the proposed modifications. I understand, Jessica, your friendly amendment, but it is far too broad, in my opinion. I think we need more specificity.
Okay. Jessica, Elliott?
Thanks, Nelsa, and thanks, Diane. I just wanted to clarify the intention of those B and C. For B, the floodplain is updated by FEMA, and it could change the abilities for let's say developers to develop taller buildings, as George Jane described to us. So it's just to protect us when the floodplain is adjusted, that we're aware of that. And then the second one, to allow accessory mechanical buildings. I realize that it would be different for every property. I think there's just a concern that people building additional buildings in their rear yards or in larger campus buildings, that's sort of something we've never seen before. So just giving the community board the opportunity to review or at least know about those projects as they're occurring in the neighborhood. Thanks.
Okay. Jessica Morris.
I just want to bring up that we are on a deadline to put forward an opinion. This was brought to us all one fell swoop. The information was made available to committee members back in October, as Angel clarified for me. But the public hearing, the presentation, and the motion all happened at once. I believe the deadline is December 28th, and the Planning Commission will proceed. There would be no cause for us to be able to really hold this up.
Thank you, Jessica. So I don't see any more questions. So we read the motion and Jessica Morris put forth a friendly amendment. I allowed discussion to see if there was anything else. So now I'm going to move on the friendly amendment where Jessica Morris suggested a modification for letter A. DCP and city agencies will provide with full transparency the East Harlem resiliency study pertaining to the resiliency of our community and the comprehensive citywide resiliency strategies. Is there a motion to accept the friendly amendment as outlined by Jessica Morris and read by me?
Motion, Jessica Elliott.
Is there a second?
Second by Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, Angel, can we take a roll call vote on this?
The friendly amendment thing?
Yes.
Okay, just a sec. Stephanie Arroyo?
Aye.
Dem Briha? Adem? Rev Brown?
Yes.
Eva?
Yes.
Ann?
Did you just call me Angel?
Yes. No, I called
Okay.
Diane.
Okay. Abstain.
Abstain. Angela?
Stay.
Jessica Elliott?
Yes.
Elsie?
Yes.
Judith?
Abstain.
Roger?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Joe Goldblum? Joe? John Green?
Abstain.
I'm sorry. What would you say, John?
Abstain.
Thank you. I didn't hear you at first. Rob Harvey?
Yes.
Marissa?
Yes.
Giselle?
Yes.
Tricia?
Abstain.
Francis? Francis? Malik?
Abstain.
Jennifer Meyer?
Yes.
Jessica Morris?
Angel, a fellow committee member brought to my attention that I voted present not voting because of a potential conflict at the point in the meeting. I looked into it and do not have a conflict. Can I vote on this, or do I need to vote?
Yeah, if you're clear, you can vote.
Okay, yes.
Elsa?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Arturo?
Yes.
Xavier?
Yes.
Jeremiah?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Jason Villanueva?
No.
Stephen Villanueva?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Jason Wu? Motion passes.
Thank you. So the motion passed to accept the friendly amendment to the original motion. Angel, now we have to vote on the motion with the friendly amendment, and I have to read it out to everyone.
Yep.
Okay, so I just wanted to say that so that everyone's clear. We accepted a friendly amendment to the motion. I'm going to now read the motion with the friendly amendment, and we will need to vote on that. The motion has been amended, originally done by Jessica Elliott and seconded by Vinnie Torres, to approve the zoning coastal resiliency text amendment with the following conditions. DCP and city agencies will provide with full transparency the East Harlem resiliency study pertaining to the resiliency of our community and the comprehensive citywide resiliency strategies. B, proposed modifications to the floodplain will be brought to the community board for approval. C, proposed modifications to allow accessory mechanical buildings will be brought to the community board for approval. D, any work to conform to CB11's local hiring guidelines. Is there a motion for this as I just read?
Motion by Stephanie Arroyo.
Motion by Stephanie Arroyo, second by Francis Mastroda. There was a motion by Stephanie Arroyo. Is there a second?
Second by Jessica Elliott.
Second by Jessica Elliott. Okay. All right. Angel, you know what I'm gonna ask, right? Now we gotta vote on this one.
Yeah, of course. My dog is protesting. Stephanie?
Yes.
Dem? Yolanda?
Yes.
Eva?
Yes.
Diane?
Abstain.
Abstain. Angela?
Abstain.
Abstain. Jessica Elliott?
Yeah.
Elsie?
Yes.
Judith?
Abstain.
Abstain. Raja?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Joe Goldblum?
Yes.
Thanks, Joe. John Green?
Abstain.
Abstain. Robert Harvey?
Yes.
Marissa?
Yes.
Zell,
Yes.
Patricia,
Abstain.
abstain. Francis,
Yes. Yes.
thank you, Francis. Malik,
Abstain.
abstain. Jennifer, Jennifer Meyer, Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Nelson Rama,
Yes.
Andrew,
Abstain.
abstain. Arturo,
Yes.
Xavier,
Yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Jason Villanueva,
No.
Stephen Villanueva,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Jason Wu, motion carries.
Thank you so much for your work on this board and for being patient with our process. I'm going to now move to item number 4, the land use application for the Harlem Neighborhood Construction Program, CB11 Site 2 East 130th Street. Stephen, can you speak to that, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. So basically, we have a plot of city-owned land, which is typically not wide enough to develop on according to the zoning rules. So the project would require a mayoral zoning override and is seeking a disposition of land. The project is 100% affordable housing, 7 units, very small development on this 16-foot lot. Nonetheless, affordable housing, 7 units. I believe they're all studios. The developer is a minority-owned developer, local developer, and we're seeking a motion to support. The motion to approve was given and passed.
Thank you so much, Stephen. So are there
You're
any
welcome, Madam Chair.
questions? Thank you. Are there any questions before I put this to a vote?
I do have a question, Nielsen. I'm sorry. I couldn't
Go
find
ahead,
it.
Diane.
Raise your hand. I couldn't find it.
That's okay.
Question for Stephen. Is this the vacant lot next to the church on 130th Street?
Yes.
Okay. Was this the land that they previously owned, Angel?
I don't think that it's the land that they owned. It's a lot next to it. It's a thin lot right next to that parking area that they had.
I know the area. That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, I know.
They at one point had, my understanding is that they owned it and they were planning to build affordable housing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's bigger than a slither. It's bigger than a slither. That's why I'm asking.
Their property was bigger than a slither. The city's property is not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're hard to tell apart too, but yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I said they're hard to tell apart. Like
Right.
because like one would assume looking at it that it's all one thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Villanueva?
I'm ready to make a motion, Chair. If
Okay,
no one-
I haven't called for it yet. I want to make sure that anything is answered before so that everyone has it clear when I ask for the motion. So Jessica Morris?
I have a question, and I know we've been in committee with this a number of times. I see HPD is here. I guess there's one very straightforward question that I have not asked, and I don't think was asked in committee the number of times we've heard about this. But because it requires a mayoral override, and Diane, I think your question is absolutely right. It's a small sliver next to a much larger open space. I'm curious whether HPD has previously used the mayoral override to develop non-conforming lots in the past, or whether this would be the first time or the second time or the third time that that's happened.
I'm going to allow HPD to answer the question, but I'm a little concerned that if this had been presented before, that these kind of questions are asked in committee and they come up within the full board, I would expect that committee members who have seen the presentations would try to ask all the relevant questions then, so that we can then present it to the full board, and then the full board members who weren't part of that presentation has real clarity. So I'm going to allow that question, and then I'm going to then move to Angela Donado, who has her hand raised, and then I'm going to ask for a motion on this if there are no more questions. HPD, would you like to respond to the question that was put basically here on the table right now?
Hi, yes, good evening. This is Beyonda Simmons.
Hi, Beyonda.
Hi, greetings everyone, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to respond. And even before I respond, I do want to offer my condolences for the loss of a great community board member. So, Jessica, just want to make sure I'm answering the right question. You asked if we've ever used a mayoral override for the purposes of developing on a small lot that's too small and doesn't comply with zoning. Is that what your question is?
Yes.
I can check and get back with you. Since we have, we have sites all over the city, and I can't say for sure whether this has been done before or if this is the first time. I actually would be surprised if this is the first time, but I will double check and get back to you. If I also may offer just a little bit of clarity, this lot, this site is a part of a larger cluster called the Central Harlem. Originally, the RFQ was for a NIHOP NCP cluster. And these cluster sites were created to allow for development of housing on a lot of these smaller, difficult to develop vacant sites all over the city that, the city was criticized for not developing on. So this cluster site, most of them of the 12 sites are located in Community Board 10, and this one site is located in Community Board 11. So a lot of these sites are not only very difficult to develop and have challenges, such as this one, it's a little bit smaller than what the zoning normally allows, but they're also very expensive. And so the clustering of the sites allows for an economy of scale and allows for the development to proceed. Although they're separate sites, it's considered, it's financed under one structure.
Thank you, Rianda. Okay, with that, I'm going to move. Angela, you've had your hand raised for quite a while.
Yes. So it's a really simple question. I'm just reading exactly what's on the paper, but it's to develop the development of a new construction affordable housing rental building with 7 units. So the whole building is only going to have 7 units. So the whole building will be made affordable. All 7 units will be affordable, but how? 30% or 60, those different numbers? Real affordability, confusing affordability, not really affordability. Which one is it?
Thank you for your question. You're asking for the AMI levels for
Yeah,
that?
I guess that's what I'm asking.
Okay, let me just get them. So for this is a rental site. So the AMI levels range from 27% AMI to 77% AMI. So they're very low and low.
Yeah, right. That's not, yeah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, I see no more questions. So I'm going to move on this item. The committee made a recommendation to approve the application of an urban development action area designation, urban development action area plan approval and the disposition of vacant city-owned land located at 2 East 130th Street, Block 1754, Lot 68, to facilitate the development of a new construction affordable housing rental building with approximately 7 units. The committee, as I mentioned, made a motion to approve. Is there a motion from the board to accept the committee's recommendation or an alternative motion?
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept. Who, can you say who said that?
Yolanda Brown.
Thank you, Yolanda. I'm having technical difficulties. Is there a second?
Second by Isaac.
Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Clements. Angel, can you call a roll call vote?
Yes. Stephanie?
Aye.
Them? I
Someone
know
has a
that's not a
lovely
them.
voice. But if you could mute so we can move this along, I really appreciate it. Thank you, you beautiful voice person, you.
A them? He's not there. Yolanda?
Yes.
Eva?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Angela?
Abstain.
Jessica Elliott?
Yeah.
Elsie?
Yes.
Judith?
Yes.
Raja? Raja? David?
Yes.
Joe Goldblum? Joe? John Green?
Aye.
Present not voting.
Thank you, Joe. Got you too, John. Robert Harvey?
Yes.
Marissa? Marissa?
Yes. Sorry.
Thank you. Giselle?
Yes.
Thank you. Tricia?
Yes.
Thank you. Francis? Francis? Malik?
Yes.
Jennifer Meyer?
Yes.
Jessica Morris?
No.
Melissa?
Yes.
Andrew?
Abstain.
Arturo?
Yes.
Xavier?
Yes.
Jeremiah?
Abstain.
Isaac?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Jason Villanueva?
Yes.
Stephen Villanueva?
Yes.
Michelle Wilshire?
Yes.
Jason Wu? Motion carries.
Angel, it's Marissa. I just want to make a note. I'm sorry, Nelsa. I think Ms. Francis was trying to make her motion, but she was muted. I don't know if you caught it or not.
I did not hear Francis.
Yeah, she was
Francis?
on, but she was muted. So I don't
Okay,
know.
well, I'll give her a chance to say it now. I see your hands. So stop waving your hands and nod your head, and then I'll know if it's you or not. So are you a yes? There you go. You're
Yes.
admitting that. There, thank you. And is Jason Wu present, or is that a still of his face?
He's busy on the cellular level. Love it, Jason.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard any votes, so we're not recognizing. Thank you, Francis.
You're welcome. Thank you, Francis. So the motion carries. I'm going to give Stephen an opportunity if he wants to mention 1 or 2 points of his meeting, or is this sufficient? And I will move forward. I am advising the board that moving forward with all the reports, the committee reports, we will vote on them as a bundle at the end of right before new business. Stephen, is there anything you want to add, or is it sufficient what was discussed so we can move to housing?
I'll just conclude with thanking the members of the Land Use Committee for maintaining quorum consistently throughout the year. That was an action item of ours historically a few years back, and it presents itself as a non-issue moving forward. So you guys should all be proud of yourselves for that. For 2021, I ask each and every member of the Land Use, Landmarks, and Planning Committee to come up with a list of goals as part of their service on the committee in terms of what level of participation they want to bring to the table or any new items they want to see coming through the committee's desks. Thank you all for your service. I wish you all a happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen, as well for your leadership. And I want to congratulate the Land Use, Landmarks, and Planning Board for their continued meeting of their quorum. With that, I am going to move to the Housing Committee and our Chair, Jeremiah Slotman.
Hi, thank you. Yes, so I just wanted to highlight a few things. There's no action items, but there's a few things that I just wanted to provide some information to folks because the housing situation is ever evolving during the pandemic. And we know that East Harlem is overwhelmingly renters and a third public housing. So a lot of our constituents are particularly vulnerable during this time. So at any rate, really quickly, there is a proposal sponsored by Councilmember Levin and 18 others in the City Council, which would eliminate criminal background checks and criminal background questions for prospective renters and other occupants. It would apply to most leases, other rental agreements, occupancy agreements. That is, and there's a lot rationale behind it is that there's a lot of folks who are overwhelmingly nonviolent offenders who are prevented from being able to attain stable, permanent housing because of their criminal history. And also there's also significant support, particularly in light of the discriminatory way that many argue that laws have been applied in the past with respect to communities of color. There is that proposal. Right now, there's no timeline at the moment as far as further debate and adoption or a vote on this legislation. There are certainly those who are opposed to it. There's also a number of landlord trade groups that would that are pushing for a more moderate approach, that are saying that we understand that there's a lot of nonviolent offenders who maybe, just maybe made a mistake or were the victims of racial profiling or something of that nature and deserve a second chance. But there are those that want to still have criminal background checks with respect to violent offenders or those who are sexual offenders, convicted sex offenders. So, there's a robust debate that's going on right now, but that is a proposal that has a decent amount of support in the City Council at the moment. And then 3 bills I wanted to quickly draw attention to. There are, as you all know, I have presented in the past that the Tenant Safe Harbor Act does a little bit to protect tenants who are financially affected or experiencing financial hardship during the pandemic. But there is no comprehensive solution. This community board did endorse a more comprehensive solution, which would be rent and mortgage cancellation for tenants and small homeowners and landlords. But at any rate, Senator Gianaris introduced a bill that would suspend for 90 days any rent payments or mortgage payments. Rent payments for residential tenants who lost employment during the pandemic, or small business commercial tenants who had to shut down as a result of the emergency government restrictions, and the mortgage payments of those landlords of those tenants. So this would also waive those obligations for 90 days. So there would be complete forgiveness, and the tenants and corresponding landlords would not be on the hook for those payments. That's one proposal. Another one introduced, sponsored chiefly by Senator Myrie, would be an eviction moratorium passed legislatively that would run from March 7th, 2020 to the end of the state of emergency, plus an additional year. And that would protect residential and commercial tenants. And it would also prevent not only evictions during this time, but any monetary judgments for rent arrears that accrue during this covered period. And finally, and also one thing that's worthy of note is that this goes farther than the Tenant Safe Harbor Act, because the Tenant Safe Harbor Act prevents tenants from being evicted for rent arrears that accrued during a time of financial hardship during the pandemic. But there can still be monetary judgments that are non-possessory, meaning you can't be evicted, but you can still be on the hook for that money. Senator Myrie's bill in its current iteration goes further and would prevent monetary judgments for rent arrears during the covered period as well. And finally, Senator Kavanaugh has introduced a bill that authorizes the DHCR commissioner to establish a housing access voucher program for families who are homeless or who are facing housing instability. And it would also provide funds for local housing agencies to help avert evictions for the non-payment of rent and other causes of displacement during the pandemic period. So I just wanted to draw attention to those current proposals that look to provide further relief during the pandemic, because it's still ongoing and we're still going to feel the effects for a very long time, the economic effects, tenants in particular, and small homeowners and small landlords. So, so I just wanted to draw attention to those bills. And I also wanted to say that folks who are in housing court right now, that although housing court operations are all virtual at the moment, if you get housing court papers on November 4th or after, November 4th, 2020 or after, you have 10 days to answer those housing court papers, and you should still do so because you can still be defaulted and lose your case for failing to answer or appear in your housing court case. So again, it is all virtual, except in very limited circumstances, but you should still pay attention to those court papers because they are moving forward with court operations to the greatest extent possible. So that's all I have for you folks, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
I don't see any questions, Jeremiah, but I do want to emphasize what you just said. I saw a client who had not paid their rent during the pandemic because the building was closed and the operations were virtual, and they got papers from the Harlem court. And although the Harlem court is closed, you have 10 days to answer, and you can call Center Street. And so it's important that directions are followed with any kind of paperwork that comes in, because what they'll do is they'll take your response by phone or by fax. And then what they'll do is when the courts are open, then they will schedule a case for you unless the landlord accepts the rent and then gives a disposition and sends it to the court. So it's very important that we follow all regulations during this time to avoid any housing insecurity or evictions that can be preventable. Thank you so much, Jeremiah. And with that, I'm going to move to the next committee to Chair Jessica Elliott for the Environment, Open Space and Parks Committee. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Nelsa. Hello, everyone. I'll try to make it brief. My minutes are in the agenda for the full board, but just a couple highlights. Luminosity is still ongoing at Randall's Island Park. Please attend if you can. It should be really wonderful, and they're following CDC guidelines for social distancing. Their permits for athletic winter permits are starting. They already started, and all grass fields are closed for the season, but synthetic fields are open, and they are accepting permits for spring of next year. So if you want to jump on that. There's been ongoing tree lighting ceremonies in the neighborhood. Connie Lee reported that there's 4 trees in Marcus Garvey Park this year, sponsored by Fifth on the Park and residents, including our very own Nia Whitaker, among others. And then at Friends of the Art Park, they had their first tree lighting on Sunday, the 6th. So congratulations, Debbie. We had 2 presentations. The first was a follow-up presentation on the Metropolitan Hospital Resiliency Wall project, and this presentation focused on the art aspects of the project. So Miguel Luciano is a local artist, painter, and sculptor, and does public work projects in Puerto Rico and East Harlem. So he presented his initial concept imagery for First Avenue and Second Avenue walls. Last month, we had asked them to identify any hazards to the surrounding community, and this wall is just surrounding the critical infrastructure of the hospital, whereas the remaining areas in that area is still in the flood zone and at risk. They said that the design is to protect the critical facility and not scope to look at the greater community, which is why we're asking for the study for resiliency done in our neighborhood. The project should begin construction at the end of next year and will be ongoing for 2 years. And the second presentation was the soccer pitch proposals at Peter Minuet Playground and Cherry Tree Playground. So this is a 5-year plan to build 50 soccer pitches in New York City. With a maintenance fund for sustainability over time. The soccer initiative is providing free participation to kids with jerseys and a soccer ball, and training for local coach mentors for life skills development and health habits on top of the sport. New York City picked these 2 parks based on the Parks Department. They have provided letter support from the schools adjacent to these parks, and they did provide us they didn't have at the meeting any schematic drawings or demonstration of where the pitches would be in the park. So they provided that, and basically at each park, 1 basketball court is being removed to become a soccer pitch. So that the pitch is a gift to the community for up to 8 years. And just to keep everyone updated, we're still waiting on Parks to follow up with us regarding the Richard Toussaint Park and Pathway, but they have expressed that it is moving forward, and we will get back to you when we have more information on that. And please wear your masks, even if you're out of park. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Is there any questions on Jessica's report? I see none, so we're moving forward. Thank you again, Jessica. We're going to move to Human Services with Chair Nia Whitaker.
I see a down and out person.
Nye isn't here, Nilsa.
Okay.
I could give a brief summary if that's okay.
Okay, if you can give a brief summary, maybe on the top 2 things, and then the minutes will be for informational purposes only.
Minutes for informational purposes only, but I will say is that we are going to have a resolution coming forward dealing with the amount of opiate centers and methadone clinics, and taking a formal position based off of data when it comes to our share of supportive services in this community and how they're not focusing on our community. So that will be forthcoming in January. We're collecting all that, and she did participate, as did Nilsa and myself, in the 125th Street Task Force, and that is an ongoing conversation. But what has taken just 6 months to actually build and bring a relationship together with Oasis. And we're going to be working with our sister agencies at the city and the state. Thank you. And Angel also attended. I don't know how long he stayed on, but that's the primary brain dump for this evening. And the rest is for informational purposes only. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Xavier. We're going to move to public safety and transportation. Chair Jose Altamirano, I do not believe is on the call, nor is the vice chair, Dawn Sanders. So I don't know if someone wants to opine on this. If not, we're going to move forward, and any minutes will be for informational purposes only.
So Nilsa, this is
I think Dawn is on economics. Oh, but Jessica
Jessica's on public safety.
I'm sorry, I haven't had coffee. Reverse that. Jessica Morris, the vice chair of public safety. Thank you.
That's quite some fanfare, Nilsa. Thanks very much.
So
Martha,
sorry.
Thank you for speaking up, and Xavier as well. So Jose is not able to be here tonight and was not able to be at our meeting a couple of weeks ago last week. Our minutes are for informational purposes only. A couple of things to note. You've heard before previous minutes, we are moving forward with the Know Your Rights Forum, and the DA's office is very interested in working together with us on that to make sure that it has the right frame and spin, and is responding to the right set of perspectives that need to be heard from and engaged. We also collectively decided that it would be good to make that happen in April as things, weather starts to change and we get back to beginning to be outside more. That was on the recognition that gun violence had stabilized and was less of an issue recently as opposed to summer months. And we recognize when the heat goes up that that is a condition that typically happens in our district. So getting off on the right foot when the weather changes in the spring is what we're looking to get at there. Additionally, a couple of other announcements. We heard from representatives from the Health and Human Services Committee. I think there's some recognition that there are shared challenges and shared concerns across those two committees. So to begin to figure out how to work together to address those multifaceted issues from different points of concern was something that we started to discuss. It's come up to my attention and others that in 2019, City Council amended local law to require 5-year plans for city streets, sidewalks, and pedestrian spaces. The first of these plans is due on December 1st, 2021, though there's no stipulated requirement for community involvement. The plan would include recommendations for areas suitable for things like shared streets, adjustments to freight routes, loading zones, bus lanes, signal upgrades for pedestrian safety, especially at intersections. So that's something for committee members and board members to be aware of. If there's anything in your area that you think might need to change, speak up, come to the public safety meeting and let us know. And then last point of announcement, it's come up at the past few full board meetings from the borough president mentioning that following on the Municipal Art Society August release of a policy brief called calling for a public champion for the public realm who would coordinate across city agencies. The borough president mentioned a number of times that hearing from our district specifically on why that may be a good thing, given our particular set of needs and vulnerabilities and vibrant, unique street culture would be really a valuable point of opining on why that would matter and make a big difference in communities like East Harlem. So informational purposes only, and please have a look around outside as you're moving around, and if anything comes to your attention, stop by Public Safety in 2021. Thank you all very much.
You're welcome. We have a question for from Andrew Padilla. Andrew?
Hey, thank you for that update. This isn't, I'm not sure if it's a question as much as I know that I'm first very happy to hear the committee is moving forward on a Know Your Rights forum. I know that I'd brought this to Jose while we were at when I was on public safety as like a pressing need that's in our community, and I'm so happy to hear that public safety is moving forward. One thing that I had mentioned to him and some other folks in the committee was that if such a forum was to take place, that the presentation should be led by people whose work it is to protect people's civil rights. There really isn't two sides to the conversation on civil rights and what they are for our residents. So I did think it would be a conflict of interest for the NYPD to take part in or lead that discussion. And I didn't hear that, but I just heard the DA's office, and I just wanted to express, just as a member generally of the community board, that I would be uncomfortable with a Know Your Rights event being led by the DA's office, considering that their perspective is going to be much different than the perspective of people whose job it is to defend the rights of members of our community who are who end up encountering the police. I just don't think that they would be the appropriate ones to lead a conversation like that. And I'm not sure how many of the most at-risk folks in our community would come to hear from the DA about what their rights are with police. I could be wrong, but I just wanted to express concern about that, because I think we definitely need a conversation on folks' rights when they're engaging with police, especially given our population and that a substantial number of our folks are also dealing with issues of police and ICE. So I definitely think there's a need for the conversation, and I'm really glad the committee's moving forward with it. But I just wanted to flag that should probably, I would hope that would be a conversation that's led by folks who are defending the rights of people that are arrested and face police brutality.
So Andrew, thank you very much. And yes, I think you're absolutely right. I have in working to continue to engage CBOs, faith-based groups, and youth. Community Council has also been excited about getting involved and participating in organizing. It's still at a planning stage, so I would ask you to continue to weigh in and work with us to make sure that the way that you and others feel the topic should be approached is being accurately reflected. And I think all of your concerns absolutely right. And getting it right is important. I think the model that we're looking to sort of frame the forum around, Osendi Garcia, a committee member and board member, I don't believe is here tonight, but Osendi had recommended enforcers to guardians as a framework, the idea of guardianship and police brutality being a sort of a public health issue, and the effects of that on people in our community specifically, but also then beyond. So all of those things will be taken into consideration. I see a number of other hands. I might ask that Pastor Isaac Scott and Stephanie Arroyo, if you would like to contribute to developing the Know Your Rights Forum, please get in touch. And I would love to incorporate all of this input as we develop the the forum further. I'm not sure that here is the best time to go too much deeper into this.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the time to have these kind of discussions when they're mentioned at the full board and it's an event that's being planned, that's the time to engage and participate when that committee meets, so that you can hear all the different voices that are on the table and understand what's coming from what. And then this way you can help inform that. So I'll recognize Stephanie, but I do agree with Vice Chair Jessica Morris. I got that right this time, that the time to, since this is not fully fleshed out now, the time to do that is with the committee and give your input at that time. Stephanie, I will allow you to make a brief comment.
Thanks. I had no questions about this event. My question was, I needed clarification about that 5-year plan. That was my question.
Okay.
Yeah, in 2019, City Council amended local law to require DOT to provide 5-year, essentially master plans for city streets, sidewalks, and pedestrian spaces. I'm happy to send you that. It's 3 pages of legislation. It's pretty straightforward. The first plan is due in December of 2021.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much, Jessica, for that comprehensive report. And my apologies again for switching the committee vice chairs. It was not intentional. Just like I am not trying to get Robert Harvey off the board, and I am sorry Ray Biggs is leaving. With that, I'm going to move to district needs and budget. If Jason wants to say a few words.
Minutes were provided for informational purposes.
Okay, thank you so much, Jason. With that, I'm going to move to youth and education, Chair David Giordano. If not, then David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So basically things are for information purposes, but I just want to thank members and patients last night for a long, healthy discussion, but I thought it was really good. And us looking at areas to really concentrate priorities and work on and resetting our goals in the upcoming year. So again, I want to thank members. We really addressed some major issues. Again, it's all outlined in the minutes, pretty much our discussion. And we'll be formulating new goals going forward and addressing those issues as priorities. But happy holidays, all.
Thank you, David. And so with that, that brings the committee reports to a close. So I will entertain a motion to accept all committee reports as a matter of record. Is there a motion?
Motion by
Motion.
Villanueva.
Second by Villanueva.
Okay. Angel, can we have a roll call vote?
Stephanie,
Aye.
Dem, Rakeem, Yolanda,
Yes.
Eva, Ann,
Yes.
Carlos, Angela,
Yes.
Jessica Elliott,
Yes.
Elsie,
Yes.
Judith,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Joe Goldblum,
Yes.
John Green,
Aye.
Robert Harvey,
Yes.
Marissa,
Yes.
Zell,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Francis,
She's nodding.
okay. All right, I see you nodding. Okay.
Francis?
Malik,
Yes.
Jennifer Meyer,
Yes.
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Elsa,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Arturo,
Yes.
Xavier,
Yes.
Jeremiah, Isaac,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Jason Villanueva,
Yes, sir.
Stephen,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Jason Wu,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you so much, folks. I know we're tired, but we're in the home stretch, I promise. With that, we're moving on to new business. Now we have 2 items of new business. Those 2 items were added here because the applications came in after the Licenses and Permits Committee meeting, and the events will commence before the next full board meeting. So it is imperative that we vote tonight. Is Adem who will be speaking to about these 2 applications, Angel?
Should be a them.
Adem, Judith?
Yeah.
Okay, Adem, are you on the call? Are you on the, yes, on our meeting?
Where did he go? He was here.
I'm here, but I don't know which 2 items because I don't have my computer up.
Okay, I'm Judith, I'm gonna read it, right? So one of the new items is the Christmas dinner, number 553429. It's a street event being held December 23rd, 2020. The setup is at 9 a.m. and the breakdown is at 5 p.m. It's going to
Oh,
be
yes.
located at East 109th Street between Madison Avenue and 5th Avenue. The applicant is Kiefer Breathwaite, and the sponsor is the New York Common Pantry.
Right. They used to have that indoors, but they can't do it indoors, so they're doing it outdoors. I think we approved that.
Okay. And all their documentation and everything that was needed to substantiate this application was received.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move on to the second one. I would like to bundle these 2 items. So this was approved by the committee, you said, Judith, right?
Yes.
These came post the LMP committee meeting.
Hi, Nilsa. I'm sorry, Judith. May I say something? This is Marlene. It's what you all said, what you said prior, Nilsa, when you introduced.
It was post the meeting.
It was post the meeting.
Okay.
So no, the committee didn't get a chance to look at these 2
Okay.
applications.
But we do have the documentation needed for substantiation. We have everything. Yes.
For
yes.
The application that you're speaking about right now, the only thing that they're missing is a letter of support.
All right.
The applicant
But we
is on
did
the
approve
line.
it. Marlene, we did approve that one, right?
No, you approved them for their Thanksgiving dinner a while ago.
Exactly.
This is for their Christmas dinner.
This is the Christmas dinner. These 2 items came in after the LMP meeting. So my
Right.
question is, the committee did not vote on this. So I want to make sure that we have the paperwork because we have to move forward. This events will happen before our next full board meeting. So we're saying, Marlene, that it's missing a letter of support.
Yes, and the applicant is on the line if after you go over what it's needed and what the applicant needs, so you can ask her to speak when you're ready. Kiefer
Okay.
Break is her name.
Okay. Is there any, Marissa, do you have a question on this?
No, not on this. I just had an item under new business, so when you finish, that's fine.
Okay. If there's no questions on this, I'm going to allow the applicant to speak a brief statement on this event. Ms. Breathwaite?
Hi.
Kiefer Breathwaite? Hi.
Yes, hi, my name is Kifa. I'm the operations manager at the New York Common Pantry. And this year we are planning to continue to have our Christmas dinner. It'll be a takeaway meal. So obviously there will be no indoor or outdoor dining. We are asking for this space to be able to distribute cold weather items as well as toiletries, hand sanitizers, masks, things like that to our clients who a lot of our clients are homeless or food insecure. So that's what we're asking for the street space to be able to do. We're going to be giving out food as well as cold weather items and mask, hand sanitizers and things of that nature.
Okay, Marlene, you're right. I'm
ahead,
sorry,
Judith.
Marlene, you're right. We approved the Thanksgiving. You're right. We did not see the Christmas one.
Right. So
we're
Thanksgiving
missing
dinner.
a letter of support.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
The letter of support, I had spoken with the office of the mayor before about this event, and they told me that I didn't need a letter of support, but I didn't realize that there was a separate entity completely from the community board, and I had asked for letters of support from some of the businesses in our neighborhoods and some of the people that had given us a letter previously for Thanksgiving, but unfortunately they were not able to get the letter to me before this meeting. Most likely we'll be able to get it tomorrow. For Thanksgiving dinner, we had 4 letters of support. And you know, I reached out to those four entities, and they were unable to get it for today's meeting.
Okay.
But I can
Marlene?
get it, you know, this week.
Marlene, is there anything else you would like to add on this?
No, not this item, no.
Okay. So just so that the board is clear, this application came in for street event after the licenses and permits committee met.
Right.
The licenses and permits committee have not opined on this. They did no motion. There is a letters of support that are missing. You just heard from the applicant that they can get us the letters tomorrow. So therefore, this board will have to consider whether a conditional motion will be made based on what was presented right now. There is another item on the agenda, but before I move forward to that, is there a motion? I'm not going to bundle these now because there's an item missing here. I'm going to ask before I move forward regarding the East Harlem Health Action Center food box application number 552647, the Farmers Market, from January 21st to December 30, 2020. The event will be held every Thursday in 2021. Set up 12 a.m. to break down 7:30 p.m. The applicant is Kathy Chambers, and the sponsor is the Council of the Environment, Inc., doing business as Grow NYC. Marlene, this also came in post the licenses and permits meeting. Is this application in its entirety?
Yes, it is.
So it has all sections. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to start.
And I'm sorry, but yeah, Kathy Chambers has been doing this for a while. That I know. But is there anybody else on this call for license and permits, or am I the only one? Because
So I have a question. About the date, I don't understand that date, January 21st to December 30th, 2020?
It's a typo. It's 2021. My apologies.
2021.
Okay, well, that was the only concern I had.
Okay. Good catch,
Is
Angela.
that it? Is that Angela?
Yes, that's Angela Donadell.
Yes, that was me.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
All right, so
Angela.
we're gonna
All right.
move
So there is one other person from license and permits on here, but
Right.
to make
Okay,
a
so we're gonna, okay, so we're gonna move forward.
I'd like to make a motion.
We're gonna stay. For 1 moment. Okay. All right.
Hello?
So in regards to, hello, do you hear me? In regards, I see Diane, your hand's up. Is it that you want to make the motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion with the condition to approve.
Okay, so Diane, that's for number 5. Okay, go ahead, Diane.
Number 5. Because I think that's the one that
Go ahead.
is probably the most controversial, but given the fact that this is around Christmas time and people do like to have Christmas dinner, I think we should make a motion I make a motion to approve the street event on the condition that the letters of support be delivered within the week. I'm stretching it
Okay.
out.
Second.
All right, who's the second?
John Green.
Okay. All right. Now, what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna move to the second one, and I'm gonna accept the motion. And when we call the vote, if you disagree with number 5 or number 6, you will state that appropriately, or you agree to both. One will be a conditional motion. The second one is I'm looking for a motion for the application of the East Harlem Health Action Center food box. All the application was complete. Is there a motion for that?
Motion by Jessica Elliott.
Okay. Second by?
I second it. Pat Martin,
Who was
second
that?
it. I second it.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat, I heard you. Thanks so much. Okay, so we're gonna do a roll call vote. You know, number 5 is a conditional approval based on the documents being delivered by the end of the week. And the second one is approved, a motion to approve with no conditions. And if you have a problem with either one, please state the number and say the vote. If you approve both, say yes to both, or no to both, or yes or no. Now we're gonna move forward. Yes?
John Green speaking.
Hi, John.
With number 6, with number 6, we vote on it with the correction for the date.
Yes. With the understanding that the date is January 21st, 2021 through December 30th, 2021, as noted by Angela Donadell. Okay? All right. With that said, Angel, we're gonna do a roll call vote.
Okay. Stephanie?
Yes to both.
And them? Yolanda?
Yes.
Eva? Eva? Ann?
Oh, yes to both.
Angela?
Yes to both.
Jessica?
Yes to both.
Elsie?
Yes to both.
Judith?
was that me?
Judith, yeah.
Yes, Judith. Mhm.
Yes. I'm gonna say yes, but I really would have liked to see the documents before I made that decision. Sorry, but I'll say yes.
Roger?
Yes to both.
Giordano?
Yes to both.
Joe Goldblum?
Yes to both.
John Green?
His Majesty. The City Council, aye and all.
Can you mute because I can't hear? John Green?
That's not me. The aye and all.
Aye, thank you. Robert Harvey?
Yes, aye.
Marissa?
Yes to both.
Giselle?
Yes to both.
Tricia?
Yes to both.
Francis? Where'd you go? Francis? Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes, Francis. Malik?
Yes to both.
Jennifer?
Yes to both.
Tika Morris?
Yes to both.
Nelsa? Nelsa?
Oh, yes to both. I'm sorry, I was muted.
Andrew?
Yes to both.
Arturo?
Yes.
Xavier?
Yes.
Jeremiah? Jeremiah? Isaac?
Yes to both.
Russell?
Yes to both.
Jason Villanueva?
Yes.
Stephen Villanueva?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes to both.
Jason Wu?
Yes to both.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Nelson, where'd you go?
Let me unmute myself. I've been talking at least for 30 seconds. I wanted to thank you all because this is the most unglamorous part of the board, these constant voice votes. So I thank you all for your patience. I know it's not easy. I want to take a moment now. Marissa Mack had her hand up and wanted to say, wanted to bring up a point during new business. So I will allow her to take the floor right now.
Thank you, Elsa. I just wanted to make two quick notes. One, we for economic development, we are meeting tomorrow, but in regards to last month, we did hold a very successful meeting with some of the smaller financial institutions in the area alongside of Uptown Grand Central and Union Settlement on grant options for small businesses. And we're hoping to do the same with some of the larger financial institutions, more than likely in January. But also just wanted to note that we are working with Save, GOSO, and Union Settlement and a few other community partners on a toy drive. And it will be servicing a shelter that is here in the East Harlem area. So I think the flyer has been circulated already. Donations are being accepted at various locations, two here on the east side and then one on the west side at a shop called The Bakery. And donations are being accepted through the 19th of December. So those are my two announcements. Thank you so much, Nilsa. And also just wanted to thank those who were able to attend the HTFC awards ceremony. Thank you, Xavier, for making the speech, and thank you, Nilsa, for supporting. Those are my announcements. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that, we're going to move to old business. Is there any old business that we want to bring up now? Diane?
Just one question, Madam Chair.
I recognize, wait, Diane Collier has her hand up.
Turn 4.
Oh, no, I do not have my hand up. I didn't take it down. I'm sorry, Nelson.
Okay. All right, go ahead. You have the floor.
Back in November at executive, we discussed the possibility of looking into conditional liquor licenses. I just want to know if there's any updates. I'm sorry, probational.
Adem is not on this call right now. Adem?
Okay, no
Judith, do you-
problem. I can follow up in January. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll follow up in January. Okay. So if there's nothing else, then I want to announce that the next full board meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 26, 2021. And before we adjourn, I just want to thank you all for your hard work this year. It has been a very challenging year for the community, for America in general, for the world, and for each one personally. I'm sure that we all have challenges that we have faced and continue to face. And so I want to thank you for being fully committed as you are. And I thank you for continuing to log on. This is a shorter meeting than usual. I know that we've gone over long and that can be problematic, but I want to thank you all for your hard work. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and any holiday that you celebrate that makes you feel good with you and your family. Please social distance and do all the things that you need to do. Is there any announcements that anyone else would like to make? Xavier?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Who is this?
This is Kathy Chambers from Grow NYC. I've been trying to
Okay.
get through the last 30 minutes. How are you
Miss
doing?
Chambers, we're fine. We already voted on your application and it was approved.
I know, but it was the wrong one. We had two of them and it was the wrong one. That one was supposed to be on hold till next month. The other one was the Uptown Grand Central. And I had included Miriam on the email with the SAPO permit office earlier tonight.
Hi, Kathy. This is Marlene.
Hi, Marlene. How are you?
I'm well. Uptown Grand Central's application was reviewed tonight by the full board, and that's the one that was approved. East Harlem.
Okay, because they said Harlem, is what
Yes,
they said.
pushed it to January, and I noted that. So January, you will go to the LMP committee, the Licenses and Permits Committee meeting. Okay?
Oh, okay. I was confused. So I just have to get you that support letter because Stefan from the director of SAPO had already emailed you tonight earlier.
Right. You and I can speak via email or phone tomorrow about that, but Nilsa is attempting to conclude the meeting now.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I was just very confused. Thank you and happy holidays, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, Marlene, I just want to be clear. What we voted on was the two action items that we voted on and that the board took a position on are the correct ones for tonight. That's correct, yes?
Yes,
Okay.
they are correct.
All right. Thank you so much, Marlene, for the clarity. I'm going to now continue to move to
Nilsa.
announcements and recognize Xavier.
So Nilsa, this is Diane.
So thank you, Nilsa. Diane, did you have an announcement?
I'm very unclear as to what we voted on. It said East Harlem Center. It didn't say Uptown Grand Central.
That's true.
Okay, let me read this again. What I have in front of me. So hopefully I have the right thing in front of me. Right? I had an application on my agenda that said number 6, East Harlem Health Action Center food box, number 552-647 Farmers Market. That was to begin January 21st through December 30th, 2020, which was a typo and was corrected as noted by Angela Donadell to December 30th, 2021. I read the event out loud. The event will be held every Thursday in 2021. Set up at 12 a.m., breakdown 7:30 p.m. Applicant Kathy Chambers. The sponsor here is listed as Council on the Environment, Inc., doing business as Grow NYC.
So I guess for clarity, where is the location?
Hi,
The lo-
everyone. I see why you're all confused.
Yes.
Okay, so Kathy is the applicant. They have two separate events happening. And the sponsor for it is, the applicant is Uptown Grand Central. The sponsor is staying the same. They're doing Uptown Grand Central Food Box. That's what should be up here for review tonight. East Harlem Action Center Food is going to January. They don't have the documents for that specific event.
Okay, I just want clarity. I'm sorry, Marlene. Maybe it's just me. The event that I just read and we voted on, the one that's the East Harlem Health Action Center Food Box, we weren't supposed to vote on that?
No, not this one.
So this was not, the paperwork was not complete for this one that was beginning January 21st that we motioned to approve.
No, not this one. Yes.
Okay. I don't have the information on the other one. So what I will do.
That is why I like.
Okay, wait. Let me.
I'm sorry.
Yes, please. So what I'm going to ask is that the event is starting. I just want clarity, Marlene. Sorry, I know that you can help me here. The one that wasn't presented for a full board vote, when does that start? Do you know?
Yes, it's January 20th, 2021 to December 29th, 2021.
So it's the same information except the applicant was Uptown Grand Central.
Yes.
And there, okay, so what I'm going to suggest is we have an executive meeting on Thursday. And at the executive meeting, we should review that and take a vote at executive. And then based on the vote, then it can be ratified at the next full board.
So this is Diane, Melissa, and I will speak to Carrie about this. Jen, I don't think we've ever come to the full board for support on Fresh Food Box. So,
see, I don't know.
No, you haven't. You haven't. So when is your executive meeting?
We have an executive meeting on Thursday.
Okay.
So if there's an application, Diane, that we should review, and Marlene, right, we can look at it at that time and we can vote on it. And then if we need to vote on it, right? If you find that there's something that does not need board approval and you've never had it before, then, you can advise us, prior.
We'll have an answer one way or another by Thursday.
Well,
okay, so we're not gonna, and so then in terms of this item that is in reality not complete, Angel, should we take a motion to rescind the approval on number 6 because it's not complete?
It's really your guys' call, but like why would you? The farmer's
Okay,
market.
so then we will leave it, whatever is missing, it will then be a conditional approval. If we need to approve that, then whatever is missing, we will get.
Nilsa,
Okay.
that is why I like to see the documents before I make any kind of decision.
Right, well, what happened?
I know
was
it came after, but if we're gonna do
Right.
it at executive, I'm hoping to see those documents before we do the executive.
Yeah, I'm sure that Marlene will send it to everyone as has been practiced. And so this doesn't fall on the board or on the staff. This falls on when the applicant submits their paperwork. If we get the paperwork timely, then the board can do its work, so can the staff, especially during this time when we are working off base. So anything that's missing for both items, we will follow up. Diane, if we need approval, then you will get us that stuff for executive, and we will be happy to vote on it. So we're all clear, right?
Yep.
I have
Thank
a
you.
question.
Okay. Yes,
I have a question.
Angela?
So this one, I know where this is, right? The East Harlem Health Action Center. And this is sponsored by Uptown Grand Central as well, or not really? And then where is the other thing that's going to take place? That's the day before and the day before, January 20th to December 29th. So the one that y'all are going to vote on, where is that taking place?
They're going to submit that paperwork to the executive committee, and the executive committee will review. Once we have the paperwork, I will have Marlene let the board know. The board will, based on the decision that's done by executive, then the board will be, the full board will be presented from the executive meeting minutes, the fact that we approved or did not approve, and then the full board will have a chance to ratify the decision then.
Can she send it to the, can she send it to the License and Permits Committee, please?
Okay, so, Melissa, Madam Chair, to Angela's question, the fresh food box is always done on a Wednesday. If you notice, January 20th is a Wednesday. We've been running this for the past 5 years, basically at 125th Street and Park Avenue. East Harlem Health Action Center, everybody knows, is 115th Street.
Right.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you. That was what I just wanted to know, what it was and where it was.
Okay. The problem is that when we don't have stuff in front of us, then we can continue to give out misinformation. So thank you, Diane, for clarifying that. Marlene, thank you for your work on this and bringing this to our attention. The executive committee will take up the other application. That won't be an issue, and then we'll ratify at the full board in January if needed. Xavier, you have your hand up?
Just an announcement.
Okay.
We're done with this.
Yes, Xavier, go ahead.
Just wanted to say thank you. I know it's a very long night. We'll see everyone at executive and those that are members of EcoDev. Just thank you for your level best efforts the entire year, as we've experienced some very once in a century events combined with other particular political issues, if you will. I want to wish everyone a happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy Festivus, and solstice. I was getting there. and a very blessed new year as we bring it in. Please take a few moments for yourself to recharge your batteries. Stay safe, wear your mask, and we look forward to seeing everyone on the other side in 2021. So thank you for all your work.
Thank you so much. And with that, I've gone through the agenda. That concludes our meeting for tonight. I want to wish everyone happy holidays, as I said in the past. Please excuse me for my lapses tonight. It's been a long, tiring day. And I call the meeting to be adjourned at 9:53 p.m. Thank you so much and stay safe.
Happy holiday, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Nilsa.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Be blessed.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Excuse
Thank
me,
you.
Nilsa, do you hear
Yes,
me?
Judith.